is that we should not be bullied for what we own. We must have a view, and our view must be respected, that we mine these critical minerals. People need them. They must talk to us. We must not give them critical minerals in their own terms, and our views are ignored.
With looming tariffs from the US on imports into that country, Mandashe says South Africa shouldn't be backed into a corner.
You get 30% tariff imposed on you. Please send those critical minerals somewhere else where there are no tariffs, where you get optimal value.
And a ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia is still in place despite tensions lingering following a truce agreement. Earlier today, the Thai army accused Cambodian troops of violating the truce overnight. The leaders of the two Southeast Asian neighbors met in Malaysia yesterday, agreeing to stop deadly clashes that have killed more than 30 people. This follows economic pressure from US President Donald Trump. The Cambodian Defense Ministry says it spoke to its Thai counterpart today about incidents that occurred during the implementation of the ceasefire, but stressed that the Cambodian army has abided by the truce. Gold is trading at $3,316.95 an ounce. The rand is at 17.96 to the dollar, 23.95 to the pound, 20.73 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $70.03 a barrel.
Heading into Protea Glen, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on the N12 westbound approaching the R558. There's also slow-moving traffic. That's in the Benoni, Boksburg area, Atlas Road, between the N12 and North Rand Road. And look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Edenvale area, Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek.
In US sport, Desiree Ellis refuses to address rumours about her Banyana future as they return home from WAFCON. Australia complete West Indies tour with an 8-0 sweep. And Gary Ringrose to miss the third Lions test against the Wallabies.
Clear skies for Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of 18 across the province. The top story in EWN this hour: an AK-47 rifle has connected the murders of popular musicians, including Oupa Sefoka, and the other high-profile killings linked to controversial businessman Katiso Katie Molefe.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 3 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to it. You're on 702. My name is Thabo Sholemashao. I'm in for John Perlman. We're together till 6. Great having you with us. It's going to be another bumper edition of this show because I'm depending on you to throw in this, that, and the other throughout the entire 3 hours. We have a number of important issues lined up for you, and the strike that is going on involving the pilots at Fly SFA is still underway, and we're hoping that today we can get some bit of good news, because eventually it's going to affect you and I as customers, as passengers, simply because it's creating scarcity of flights, meaning that you and I will have to fork out more than we would have ordinarily. Not that we are paying any lesser right now. And so that strike has got impact on us. So we will want to speak to Fly SFA. We're also trying to get hold of Solidarity to give us their view on this particular story. After being denied bail, Tiffany Meek will remain in custody and return to court in September. That story is also there. We will look into it. And why is it that South Africans are tired of the grind? What do you hate about your job so much? It appears, according to some studies, that South Africans really don't like their jobs. They're unhappy at work. And this poses a question. Are you doing what you love, or was it the only thing that's available for you at the time, and that's the reason why you're there? So we'll speak to someone from who's heads of brands at Peanut. That would be Michelle Dobson. The Good Life, Mashatile suddenly declares ownership of 28.9 9 million rand Constantia Palace. Now we want to find out about the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, as to why did he only declare this now and not previously. All that and more, so all the regular features will be on the show. So stick around and feel free to call through and suggest anything. And most importantly, I would love to hear from you. All you need to do is simply send us a voice note on 072 702 1702. Alternatively, give us a call on 011 883 0702. And I'm told that we are live on YouTube as well. So there are various platforms you can use to interact with us, and I look forward to that. 11 after 3.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Do you know those individuals who are not willing to pay much for anything? It could be alcohol, where they're saying that, no, I'm not willing to buy an expensive wine, expensive whiskey. I'll just stick to the very basic. Or someone who's not really spending much on their clothes to look good. Well, maybe they look good, but they're not willing to, spare a penny more than they're already doing. And those are frugal people. And I was just wondering, when you walk around, what is it that you're not willing to spend your money on? Notwithstanding the economy, I know that's a beautiful excuse that we all use, but what is it that you are not willing to spend an extra dime on? I'd love to hear from you on 072 702 1702. Speaking about frugal individuals, Jonathan Fairbairn joins us in the studio right now. He's the producer of the show. Jono, Kabazele, you good, bro? Your mic, I don't think your mic is on. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, you good?
That, hey?
Are you also frugal on the microphone? You don't have to pay, just to switch it on. You
studio,
don't need
so,
to. I was just suggesting that it's free of charge.
When it comes to headphones
And Karabo Chali, of course, you'll hear from him a little bit later on, giving us the latest on the roads. Karabo, you good?
100%. How are you, sir?
Good. Are you 100% on everything else, or do you go 20% perhaps on things that you spend on, sweets, lunch, clothes? What is it that you're not willing to spend extra on, Kara?
Sheesh, there's a lot, eh? First and foremost, my haircut. My madam does it for me. I'm not going to go to the barber to be massaged and shampooed and puff and shine. I could say what you guys do there.
We can tell. We can tell that your madam does your hair for you.
No, definitely. When it starts growing, she'll be like, hey, Karabo, here are the clippers. Let me get going. And I'm like, standard. As long as I'm clean.
So you're not willing to pay about 150 on a chiscop?
No way. I'll do it for my son because he insists. He likes
but
his hair specifically. I don't know how to cut his hair the way he wants it. But Nike Chiscop, standard, madam can do it. If she doesn't want to do it, I can do it myself.
Just across here, you can just cut your hair for 150 bucks.
150?
Yes.
for Chiscop.
For Chiscop.
150 for Chiscop?
Yeah, bro.
I'd rather go to Dark or Corner Brie and Ing and get it for...
Under the tree.
Under the tree.
With methylated spirit. Then you jump.
I'd rather go to Mrs. Jelly.
Mrs. Jelly does it. I haven't been under the tree in a long time, but Mrs. Jelly does it very well.
Jono, are you good, man?
I'm very well, thank you.
What is it that you're not willing to spend on?
No, so I am quite careful with what I spend money on, but I'm not frugal in terms of you would think, geez, you don't spend money on that.
Yeah.
But I have a friend.
Yeah.
Okay. He plays golf with me every weekend, sometimes in my four ball or a different four ball.
Yeah.
And we rip this guy because he has got serious money. Like when I say he's got serious money, he's got a home in the bush.
Really?
Nice home in Kailami.
Yeah.
And he spends money on really nice things.
Yeah.
But then you come to a water hole at Copperleaf.
Yeah.
Let's say number 6 is the water hole. There's a big dam in front of you. It's stroke 1. It's a hard hole.
Yes.
He will then, at the tee, he will take, let's say he's been playing with a Titleist Pro V1.
Yeah.
Nice ball, right?
Yeah.
A Callaway ball. He will put it in his bag and out he will grab a range ball. So what he does is if he goes to ranges wherever he plays, he'll sneak one in.
Oh my goodness me, it gets to that.
And then we'll see him on that and he'll take out the range ball and tee off of that. And now, as a school, the golf school, we have ripped him so badly that he would never does it.
He plays with his Callaway.
It brings out an old ball, not a range ball.
But Jonah, so, I mean, earlier on you were telling me about someone else. Is it also one of your friends who's not willing to buy a double-ply toilet roll?
No, I was using that as an example.
Okay. Is his name example? Was it his name?
No.
I'm kidding.
But I mean, some people will do that because they want to save money.
Yeah. I suppose. But I mean, why would you do that? Single ply. I mean, if you can't afford it, listen, if you can't afford it, I agree. But I mean, if you can, why do you want to save on toilet paper?
Because it's not essential.
Oh, wow. It's not essential.
Well, I suppose, I mean, I don't do the shopping, so I don't know what 18 rolls of double ply, two ply, or single ply costs.
I think $98 or something.
98 Rand.
Yeah.
So maybe, for example, instead of spending 98 Rand on two ply 18, you're spending, I don't know.
No,
help me out, chat.
I suppose 30, 40 bucks, and then you're saving. Yeah.
And then you just squeeze a couple more rolls of the single ply. Then you would with it.
I never knew it worked that way.
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I suppose. Right? You know, I've got friends who are not willing to spend much on alcohol, but they're happy to consume expensive alcohol.
Other people's alcohol.
Yeah, they're not happy to spend that money buying expensive alcohol, but other people's alcohol, they gladly drink. And I just don't like that. And I'm thinking, why? Why do you do that, you know? And so with that, we just wanted to find out from you. Please add your views. We'd like to hear from you. What is it that you're not willing to spend much on? Is it alcohol? Is it toilet roll? Is it clothing items? Or like Mr. Charlie here, is it a haircut? You're not willing to spend much on a haircut. Well, something that he must at least spend time on would be traffic. And he'll tell us what's on our roads. What's happening on the roads, Kakam?
Well, at this stage, you're not spending much of petrol. At this stage, things looking good, free-flowing. However, look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Randburg area at Malibongo Drive and Mahogany. If you're heading into Lenasia, we have those roadworks on the Golden Highway causing heavy delays between the N12 and the R554. Also, traveling through Protea Glen, bumper-to-bumper traffic, N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Like I said, the rest of Gauteng not looking too bad. No accidents have been reported. In Pretoria, however, there's a slow-moving traffic I see. This is in the Garsfontein area on Garsfontein Road approaching Solomon Mahlangu. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Godfrey Libya confirmed on the show last week that you have provided information to the Hawks as an informant, which has been credible before.
That is not true. In fact, please put it on record that I have never provided information to the Hawks. I'm not a police informant. And he wouldn't say that.
Hold on. He wouldn't say that? He did say it on this show. Listen to this.
He provided the information to us, which in the past we had to work on it.
I'm actually appalled. I'm not an informant, as he says. If I were to show you our WhatsApp conversation, there's nothing about providing information, credible information.
So what were you guys talking about since 2023 on WhatsApp with the head of the Hawks?
We're talking about things that have nothing to do with being an informant.
Malcolm X?
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
What if the most powerful change in leadership started with your voice? At the Legacy Leadership Summit, you won't just be listening, you'll be participating. Join experts like Dr. Thuli Tabudi and Professor Bonang Mohali in meaningful discussions about shaping the future of leadership. Enjoy a fully catered experience, exclusive leadership resources, and more. It's all happening on the 14th of November at Henley Business School in Johannesburg. Seats are limited. Find more information at Legacy Leadership Summit on Facebook and Instagram.
Celebrate the horse racing season of champions with Hollywood Bets and saddle up for sensational success. Stand a chance to win a spectacular share of over 2 million rand in prizes, including a brand new Amoda C5 or C7. All you have to do is bet 50 rand or more on any horse racing event for a shot at your crowning moment. Take the reins and get ready to gallop to grand rewards. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult day 3731. I'm really struggling to explain my parents to my therapist. Might send him to live with them so he can see for himself. What if he ends up in therapy too? Wait, what if they love him more than me?
Finally learning about mental health. Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's convenient and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
7:02 indeed, 21 minutes after 3 o'clock. Feel free to communicate with us. Send your thoughts, your views on anything else that happens on the show. Feel free to do so on 072 702 1702. Today, there have been some major developments in the case against suspects that were arrested in connection with the murder of musician Oupa Sefoke, popularly known as DJ Somebody. But it appears that there were two more high-profile cases linked to the controversial businessman that we've come to know of late as KT Molefe. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, was there, and she's sitting right in front of me to give us the very latest. Good afternoon, Khomotso. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're well.
Thank you so much for having me, Shirley.
Two more cases.
Yes, two more cases that have been linked. So today when we saw Katiso KT Molefe go to court, he was expected to be in court for his bail application. After he was arrested last week, it was said on the record that he'll come back to court in the following week to have a formal bail application.
Yes.
That did not happen. He's got new legal reps that are representing him in court, and so the bail app was then postponed to next week. But something else that happened is that the police have linked him and the men in the dock, the alleged hitmen, to two other cases. The one is of the murder of a businessman. Don Dintleni is his name. And he was shot on the M1 highway in 2022 while driving his BMW. There were no arrests that were made at that time. In fact, police continued to say that they were investigating. Now, after that, in 2023, we saw another popular DJ being shot. This is after DJ Somebody being shot.
Yes.
And that was DJ Vintos is his name. And his official name is Hector Buthelezi. He was also shot outside a nightclub in Orlando East in Soweto. Now, that case also became a cold case. No arrests were made there as well. And so once police had arrested the hitmen that were linked to the murder of Armand Swart, that is the Vereniging engineer who was killed in a mistaken identity whistleblower case. He was then, this was when Katiso Molefe and the three were arrested, the hitmen. When their ballistics testing was done of the AK-47 rifle as well as the pistols that they were using was done, then that linked them to the other cases. So now Molefe has been linked not only to Armand Swart, which he's on trial for in the Pretoria High Court.
Yes.
He's been linked to DJ Somebody. That case is in its early or infancy stages in the Alexandra Magistrates Court. And now he's also been linked to the other murder of another DJ Vintos.
And I'm just wondering the profile of his victims, if they matter at all, and the modus operandi. And is this a case being built that may perhaps end up burying him deeper than he is right now?
So, Shola, you can't, it's glaring that these are all musicians, these are people in the public, and these are known club owners, so to speak.
Yes,
it's understood that DJ Somebody was owning a club. I believe the club was a Yep, if not.
Yeah.
And then DJ Vintos also, my understanding is that he's also in the business space, particularly in Soweto. He was before his passing, also a club owner of sorts. So the profile can be seen there that these are people in the entertainment space. Now, of course, in the public, people make further assumptions. They link it to others, to other cases around this. And I don't think we should preempt what was going to be said in court and be found out in court. But I think it's clear that this has got something, or it seems to be something to do with the entertainment space.
Yeah.
Now, the murder of Don Dintleni, which has not been linked to Molefe, but only the hitmen.
I see.
And it's really unclear. I've been trying to find out. I've been trying to do, basic Google searches, calling people, asking, do you know who is Don Dintleni? Dintleni.
Yes.
At this stage, we don't know who Don Dintleni is. At this stage, it just seems like it's someone who could afford a really nice, fancy BMW, and he was shot while driving it on the highway. But yes, I think the police are saying that we shouldn't preempt the motives behind these killings. It's just very interesting that Molefe has been linked to the Armand Swart killing, and of course that was a whistleblower case in a Transnet tender matter. And so whether or not the murder of Armand Swart is linked to the DJs and then to this Don Dintleni is yet to be seen.
I'm hoping our listeners will come through for us and maybe email you, communicate with you, or even send us a voice note or text message to tell us who Dintleni is. And of course, Khomotso, we have to say that everyone should be presumed innocent until found guilty. That's very important. So I don't want my narrative to somehow suggest any semblance of guilt prior to the court doing its job. But clearly, this person, I mean, to be linked in all of this, the police must be concerned. In closing, any prospects of bail? I mean, you've done thousands of these cases, and I'm not asking you to preempt anything else, but does this make it a little bit more difficult to push for bail?
Well, you know, Katiso Katie Molefe is already on bail. He was on bail for the Armand Swart matter.
Oh, previously,
So what happened was he appeared in court on Armand Swart after his arrest. He was denied bail in the magistrate's court. His matter was taken to the High Court and he brought another bail application there and he was granted bail. Now, when he was arrested last week in connection with DJ Somebody, he was then, of course, back in custody and now he needs to go through the process again. Do I think he'll be granted bail? I don't know, Shola, that's the short answer. But I will say that I do expect his legal representatives to argue that because he has been continuing to come to court for his other matter, he's proven he's not a flight risk, which was a fear, then surely he should be a candidate for bail. He's cooperating with police in his other matter. Why would he flee in his other matter? And we've seen it in state capture cases as well, where people are granted bail for one matter, charged with another, and they apply and they're given bail.
The ever competent Khomotso Modise giving us the very latest on that issue of KT Molefe, 27 after 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
And sticking to courts, Tiffany Nicole Meek was arrested 2 months ago after 2 months after her child's bruised body was discovered at her flare-off apartment block in May. And this story in the West Rand really shook some bit of nerves because she was accused of murdering her 11-year-old son, and she will be returning to court in September. To give us a bit more insight on that, Carlo Peterson, no stranger to you at all, EWN reporter. Carlo, hi, you good?
Hi, Tabo, yes. So I have, in fact, been covering today a trial in the Western Cape High Court related to the murder of alleged steroid king Brian Weinstein, a trial which involves alleged underworld figures Jerome Donkey Boyson and 16 others who faced a slew of charges related to the murder of Weinstein in 2017. Today the court heard from a Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation detective who she cannot be named due to safety reasons, but she told the court she was part of the team who investigated Weinstein's murder in 2017, and as part of her investigation, she was given recordings of phone calls between alleged underworld figures Mark Liffman and Andre Naudé, who are now murdered, along with Colin Boyson and Jerome Boyson. The captain says it became clear to her that Liffman, Naudé, and the Boyson brothers were part of an enterprise called the Brotherhood. She was, though, interrupted while giving her testimony by Judge Vincent Saldana, who warned the state that about presenting evidence related to those alleged slain nightclub bosses, Liffman and Naudé, saying the state will, at some stage, need to address the court about how it intends dealing with evidence related to those two who are now no longer alive to defend themselves.
Carlo, thanks very much for that update. I mixed up my papers. Apologies for that. But clearly, and any key thing that stood out, particularly in Western Cape High Court, about that matter?
I think was...
Sorry, Carlo, go ahead.
Yes, I think today the key thing was Judge Vincent Saldana, warning the state prosecutor there, Nathan Adrianza, about presenting evidence related to those two slain nightclub security bosses Liftman and Odia, saying that they will have to come up with a plan or an argument, so to say, about how they intend dealing with that evidence related to those two, as they are no longer there to stand up for themselves, to defend themselves in court.
Much appreciated, EWN reporter Carlo Peterson. And that brings the time to exactly 3:30, and we get to hear what is the latest on Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Tabo. Good afternoon. A strike by some FlySafair pilots continues for a second week. Now, the airline and trade union Solidarity have been involved in discussions under the supervision of the CCMA since last week. Affiliated pilots are demanding a more than 10% salary increase and a reworked rostering system, while the employer has only been offering around half that amount. FlySafair's Kirby Gordon.
So at the moment, there are about 200 that are represented by the union, but there are a number of them that have returned to work. And obviously there are the non-unionized pilot force that are there as well. So as it stands, we've actually got the majority of pilots actively flying our passengers. At this stage, what we've done is we've had to right-size our schedule going forward, so well into next week.
Kirby adds that the carrier has reduced flights by combining them.
So, for example, you would have had 2 departures within the space of an hour from Cape Town to Johannesburg, and what we've done is combined those flights when they were still half full into one, and said, look, we only need one set of crew to operate that. So the actual number of seats that we've got in the market are down about 30% for us.
Gordon says talks are ongoing.
Last weekend, the company put an offer to the union, which they voted upon, and unfortunately they rejected it. That was late on Friday, so yesterday there was more correspondence in order to continue the discussions, which is a positive sign.
In the Western Cape, a recent police search related to the disappearance of Jocelyn Smith in Saldanha Bay has yielded no results. 2 months ago, the child's mother, Kelly Smith, her boyfriend, Jaquina Apollos, and his friend, Stefano van Rijn, were handed life sentences for selling the then 6-year-old girl for 20,000 rands in February last year. Police have now acted on new information, and officers returned to the Middelburg community over the weekend, as the police's Novela Botela explains.
What unfolded on Friday afternoon and continued into Saturday morning was actually SAPS following up information that was brought to their attention. Upon receiving the information, they brought various role players. We're talking here of your crime intelligence, organized crime detectives, public order.
Botela says an engineer from the Saldanha Bay municipality has also been involved.
We ended up in a septic tank in Middelburg, an old septic tank that is no longer in use. That is 3 meters deep. We started on Friday afternoon and continued because additional resources had to be brought in. Continued into Saturday morning, and unfortunately that search yielded no result.
The National Council of Provinces Appropriations Committee has marked the end of the budget process with the adoption of the 2025 Appropriation Bill. The NCOP's Select Committee on Appropriations sat today to consider the draft report on the Appropriation Bill, which was passed after a marathon session in the National Assembly last week. The Select Committee also adopted the Eskom Debt Relief Amendment Bill, which amends the original Eskom Debt Relief Act to introduce interest payments on loans provided to Eskom. Babalo Ndenze reports.
The Select Committee on Appropriations today held its final sitting of the current term, which has come to an end after a longer than usual budget process held up by GNU disagreements. The committee picked up where the National Assembly left off last week by considering the appropriation bill and the individual department budgets in its draft report. Committee Chairperson Didimalo Lehwase.
Today, colleagues, marks not only the conclusion of our deliberations on the 2 critical bills, which is the Appropriation Bill, which is Bill B16 of 2025, and the Eskom Debt Relief Amendment Bill. Colleagues, this also marks the final and official sitting of the committee.
The Appropriation Bill and the Eskom Debt Relief Bill will now go to a sitting of the full Council for final adoption. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
And in France, health experts have urged authorities to protect the public from a bee-killing pesticide, saying the chemical could harm children and adults. The insecticide is sought after by beet and hazelnut growers who say they have no alternative against pests and face unfair competition. The move has sparked anger in France and support for a student-initiated petition, which has also garnered more than 2 million signatures. The legislation was adopted earlier this month without proper debate to bypass the decision in Parliament. The chemical has also been banned in France since 2018 but remains legal in the European Union. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 0 and 3 degrees and highs of between 18 and 20.
Well, at the stage in Protea Glen, that's in the Soweto area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558, and look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Edenvale area, Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek, as well as in Randburg at Malibongo Drive and Mahogany.
The top story in EWN this hour, a strike by some FlySafair pilots continues for a second week.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
What is devastating about this story coming out of the Eastern Cape is that this grade 12 learner failed to pay for a school trip. Why does that translate to caning effectively to a point where your palm is injured to the level that it was in that video?
Absolutely unacceptable. As a country as well, you're outlawed to the use of criminalization of violent death. And I don't understand why a child should be punished for the physical means that they may or may not have.
Lucanyo Vanwa speaking on behalf of the National Minister of Basic Education.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Get ready, Mzansi Powerball has rolled over to a massive 100 million rand guaranteed jackpot this Tuesday. You heard right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 100 million rand jackpot today and you could hit it lucky. Buy your tickets now in store or on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Business Insurance are experts in business insurance for optometrists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Is Chrissy?
Business Insurance is the best insurer for my business. They have great premiums, wonderful service. I know without a doubt that Outsurance has my back, and you always get something out with Outsurance.
Switch to Business Insurance and you can get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium.
Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za. 702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, 702. I know this probably might be off topic amongst the discussions for the day, but I just wanted to flag, or rather just to see if anybody has flagged the level of the sewer systems flowing through Joburg North, the Yakske area, Olivedale area, North Riding area. It's like every corner you turn, there's a burst sewer somewhere. So it's quite, I'm not sure if it's Joburg that's overwhelmed, but I can literally tell you that's gonna be a big mess up waiting to happen, because already it's quite prevalent in the Cosmo City areas as well. So Cosmo City, never mind the informal settlements. So there's like a high prevalence of burst sewer pipes now, burst manholes and things like that. So, Joe, kuning.
Yeah, indeed. I'm glad that you flagged that one. And we're not just limiting comments and assertions to all that we are talking about. I'm glad that you raised that very important issue, because inevitably the subsequent result is the implication on people's health. Residents around those areas, definitely something that we need to look into, and I'm sure we will get hold of the city of Joburg, the responsible department, and try to find out what is going on. And I'm very much happy that you did. Feel free to do the same on 072 702 1702. As John Perlman always says, you are our eyes and our ears. So if you don't raise these things, we'll never get to know. It's 20 minutes to 4 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
With Tolagele. And Tolagele, they are back. They are our heroines. They did very, very well. Who am I talking about?
Banyana Thabo, and they've returned home following their participation at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, where they finished in 4th place. There's now doubt over the future of coach Desiree Ellis, who's allegedly been working without a contract since 2022. SAFA reportedly want to keep her, and she's been mandated to qualify for next year's WAFCON tournament and then the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup.
I'm not going to comment. I've been taken out of context on numerous occasions, and I think it's best that I don't comment on that, because it's already all over the media. What people are writing is not true. Certain things is not true. So when people write, they must get the facts right, first of all. They don't get the facts right, then they write the wrong thing. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm saying no comment, purely on the fact that I don't want to be misquoted, because I've been badly misquoted during this tournament.
Australia completed a 5-0 T20 sweep of the West Indies after a 3-wicket victory in the final game. Mitchell Owen top scored with 37 off 17 balls as the visitors reached their target of 171 with 18 balls to spare. That win sealed a first T20 series sweep by the Baggy Greens in the Caribbean and saw them end the tour with the perfect 8-0 record after success in the 3-test series. Over to rugby, where Gary Ringrose has been ruled out of the British and Irish Lions' third test against Australia on Saturday as he continues to recover from a head injury. Ringrose had initially withdrawn from the starting 15 for the second clash after feeling the effects of concussion in training. For the Wallabies, they next take on the Springboks in back-to-back rugby championship games, and Rassie Erasmus has discussed what he's observed about the opponents during the series.
The way they play is, Joe Speed is a great coach, and we know the players pretty well, and we know the coach pretty well. So it wasn't for us a surprise. We actually had internally, we and the coaches had some, scores between us, and it varied. The team said Australia would win, and the other coach said the Lions would win. So for us, it wasn't really a surprise, and we think the third test match will be just as close.
And at the Swimming World Championships, Pete Coetzee won gold in the men's 100-meter backstroke. His time of 51.85 seconds ties the African record and is 0.14 seconds faster than his previous best. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
With Garabo Charlie, what's the latest? How do our roads look, Garabo?
Well, I have to say, not looking too bad at this hour, Tabo, and no accidents have been reported on our highways. However, it is peak hour traffic, so expect some delays if you are leaving the Joburg CBD, leaving the Parktown Joburg CBD, heading towards Boyson's M1 southbound. That's between the Killarney Bends and the Crown Interchange. Also in the Parktown area, slow-moving traffic on Empire Road. That's between Berry Herzog and the M1, while in Protea Glen, Soweto, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. That's on the N12 westbound. Between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558, and also look out for those faulty traffic lights. That's in the Edenville area at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 Podcast
on PrimeMediaPlus.com.
16 minutes to 3 o'clock, and welcome back, Tabo, in to 4. Someone reminded me. See, I'm not alone in the studio. 16 minutes to 4. This is 702. Thanks very much for sticking around with us. We've got so much more coming up, so I don't want you to go anywhere, because a little bit later on, we will be speaking about what is making South Africans unhappy at work? And Michelle Dobson will be my guest for that discussion. And I want you to weigh in. Perhaps you are not happy at your work. It could be your boss. It could be something else. It could be the high costs of your transport costs going to work. It could be your salary. Let us know. A little bit later on, we'll be talking about that. So make sure that you are around. But for now, related to work, but a bit different. And Tolagele is here. Firstly, Tolagele, thanks. What's up before we even get to this? Desiree Ellis, I mean, she seems a little bit unhappy.
I kind of don't blame her because she becomes the face of everything that's falling apart within the national team. And I do think there's maybe issues that she also has, but because Banyana didn't do as well as we expected them to do at BAFCON, people are immediately calling for her head. But even if you remove her, does it change everything that's happening behind the scenes?
Yeah. Well, something that is related to change, or a little bit of it, is being frugal, ngodla, stingy. What's the Afrikaans word? Exactly. Ngame. No, the Afrikaans word. I was looking for the Afrikaans word for it. Oh, yeah. Sparsamig. Okay. And so are you stingy at all?
Absolutely not.
Well, okay. On some items, what is it that you're not willing to spend an extra dime on? One thing where you say, more, you are cheat, you are robbing me, daylight robbery, I'm not going to spend an extra cent on this.
When I first started working, I did have that mentality.
Yeah.
But over time, I've realized, Tore, whether you take the shortcut or you just take the long road, you will still end up paying the full amount of that thing that you want.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when I moved into my house, I wanted a very specific couch. And then I got one for a lot cheaper. Within a year.
Don't tell us where you bought it.
I realized that I should have just taken my financial L and just bought the couch. And I ended up still buying the couch because the one that I bought for cheaper didn't work out.
There's also an Afrikaans saying for that.
What's that?
Goedkoop is duur koop.
A hard head is that?
Oh, hard head way. No.
Hard head.
A cheap buy is an expensive buy.
Exactly.
Guop, not gop.
Oh, my bad.
Guop.
Miss Insulin, I'm so sorry.
So you're not now?
Not anymore.
Really?
Even if I have to take maybe 2 or 3 months to be like, okay, I'm saving for this, I'm saving for this. I'm willing to pay for that thing because I'm going to pay either way.
Before you walked in, Jono was telling us about one of his friends who's not willing to buy a double-ply toilet roll because they are saving on that.
And also, don't you want to treat yourself nicely? You work hard for what?
I hear that.
29 days of the month.
On some things. On
everything, Tabo. When you go home and you sit on the toilet, do you really want that? Okay,
do you buy expensive clothing brands?
I mix and match. Ask Karabo.
Yeah, fair enough. You mix and match.
I love me a quality sneaker.
Bags?
Yes.
Okay.
He knows.
Okay.
Me.
Okay.
I have a philosophy that says anything for you, baby girl.
Oh, I love that.
Because at the end of the day, I work hard and I deserve the things that I buy.
Steve Compella philosophy. Buy yourself that pair of sneakers.
Yeah. He says if the budget doesn't allow, still buy yourself that. No, but I mean, it's not the same for you. You are not. He's not willing to spend a cent on a cheese cop.
No
He'd
way.
rather let his wife cut his hair or go under the tree for $10.
How do I look
with
right
methylated
now? How
spirit.
do I look?
You don't want us to tell you. I mean, are we on YouTube? I was told that we're on YouTube Live. Please, I mean, maybe our listeners must decide. How does Karabo Charlie look? He's a guy. There's a handsome guy and there's him. And if you don't know which one is his
HR, I'm coming with an email.
So I'd love to hear from you. What is it that you're not willing to spend an extra buck on? Please let us know. Are you frugal? Are you ngame, sparsamig? Or are you just not willing to spend an extra dime on something else? What is that thing and why? I'd love to hear from you. 072 702 1702. Let us know.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Well, it's been said that there are a number of South Africans who are really unhappy at work right now. And the article mentioned that 61% of workers are actively job hunting whilst still working. And that could mean that they're unhappy, or it could also mean that they are looking for job prospects and promotions and so on. But I wanted to find out from you before we kick off our discussion. Are you unhappy at your work? And is it someone specifically making you unhappy, or is it the conditions, or is it what you do? I know of a lot of South Africans who are doing what they really don't love. And I'm wondering if this is not the real reason behind all of this. There could be someone who works at Pick and Pay, and what they truly want to do is to be a soccer star in Orlando Pirates. And for whatever reason, they can't make it into the team, and they are stuck working at a retail store. And not that it's bad to work there at all, but it's just not them. Are you one of those people? Please share with us. And my guest, Michelle Dobson, head of brands at Peanut. Michelle, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702.
Great. Thank you for having me.
What inspired this piece? Let's start there, Michelle, if you don't mind. And are South Africans really that unhappy at work right now?
Well, yes, we see that there is a growing frustration. I mean, people do feel overworked, underappreciated. They feel stuck. And we can see it firsthand at PNet because we are getting more job seekers activating their profiles. We see an increase in searches, or people quietly, signaling that they're open to offers by making their profiles visible. So the insight or the inspiration for the campaign really came from the fact that job hunting doesn't start when people start searching for new opportunities, but it actually starts a little bit before, when they feel that there's a disconnect between what they want and what they currently have in terms of their job.
Was there a specific industry that showed more of these indicators than the rest?
No, not necessarily,
Okay.
or nothing that's sort of statistically worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Just in general, people are feeling dissatisfied.
Sure.
I think in the article we mentioned a 23% engagement rate, meaning that only 23% of workers are saying that they actually feel motivated or valued in their roles.
And what does disengagement look like in real life, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, disengagement is really, kind of switching off. We have become familiar with the term quietly quitting, that feeling of just going through the motions. You're still there, you're still collecting your paycheck, but you're doing the job, but not really with any level of passion or energy. You're not learning, you've mentally checked out.
The article also mentions that 61% of workers are actively job hunting. And I'm assuming there's serious restlessness behind this. It could be money, it could be bosses, their environment. Maybe it's not as friendly as it ought to be.
Absolutely. I mean, restlessness comes from many different areas. It depends what you're looking for and what you currently have. I think what's key to note is that, during COVID, for everything it was, it did give people a time to reflect on what's really important to them. It also, introduced the flexible or hybrid model to the world of work. So job seekers are a little bit more tuned to what makes them happy. And I think as South Africans, because we have such a high unemployment rate, we feel a bit guilty saying, actually, I'm not happy in this role. I deserve more.
You seem ungrateful.
No, I mean, it's not ungrateful.
No, I'm saying it seems that way to someone, but it's not necessarily that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So our campaign almost like in a tongue-in-cheek way gives people permission to say, actually, I do deserve something better, and we can see that they're looking.
And also, I was just wondering, South African companies, or just generally companies in South Africa, I should phrase it that way rather, are trying to save quite a lot. And it's the nature of business, of course, to look at the bottom line more than anything else. And you find some people doing extra jobs and occupying two positions, yet being paid for one. To what extent does that also play a role where you feel I'm doing three people's jobs here, but I'm only getting one salary, set of benefits for one people? Is that a fact at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And we always say that the better you do your job, the more you get punished for it, because that's ultimately what happens. If you're incredibly productive, you tend to get the job done. And there are businesses do shrink. Businesses are under pressure. So it is common that, the people that stay behind will pick up the extra work, and especially the good people that stay behind. So in the article we talk about some information from SADAG, from the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, that says a lot of the information that they deal with is around people who are exhausted, they're resented with their roles, and that goes down to doing the workload of two people and suffering burnout as a result.
And I'm assuming, and I know for sure that a number of people are listening to us. Many of them may be affected. A few, whatever percentage of our listeners, may be feeling that very same way. What are some of the signs that it might be time to move on, especially for those listening to us right now?
Yeah, well, we talk about some of the signs in the article that we shared. It's if you wake up dreading the workday ahead. One of our ads in the campaign talks about the problem isn't Mondays, you need a new job. So if you find that you're starting to resent going to work, if your workload's gone from busy to overwhelming, and it's consistently overwhelming, it's not just a short-term project that is going to calm down at some point. If you haven't learned anything new in a while, that's probably a good reason to start looking at, should I be moving on? Obviously, if you're running on empty, if you're physically or emotionally just stressed and burnt out, that's what we spoke about earlier, that quietly quitting. If you've mentally checked out, that's a massive red flag. So those would be some of the key signs.
Anything that employers or bosses or managers can do. Also, those who are listening and thinking, I have seen these traits at work. I have seen these characteristics at work from my employees or my subordinates or anyone else that I'm supervising. Any tips for those employers? What do you do? Or has the horse already bolted and left the stable? The train has left the station already? Too late for mama?
Yeah, no, I think it does rest on the job seeker. If there is anybody listening that is feeling, this dissatisfaction in their role, I think you would know in your own company what it is, whether it is something that is, that can be resolved by you having a conversation with your manager or having a conversation with your HR team. So there certainly are ways to retain staff that feel this way, but you either need to, as an employer, you need to be, tuned into the fact that this is happening. So there's always advice around, continually checking in with your teams, making time for one-on-one conversations, not around, your task list and your to-do list or your action plan, but how are you feeling? Are you satisfied? Where do you want your career to go? So that kind of ongoing check-in with your teams is absolutely critical. But if they have decided that it's time to move on, or if they come to you, asking or sharing some of their concerns, be open to it. Try and understand and see whether there is something really tangible that can be done to keep that person in your business.
As we say goodbye in the next 10 seconds, Michelle, anything that you guys are doing, perhaps people can go to your website or find more info, especially those who are stuck in their jobs.
Yeah, well, obviously my first recommendation would be to register on the PNet profile. We do have an open to offers section, so if you make your profile visible, recruiters can find you. And we've got a new section that's called What I Bring to the Job, which is a really beautiful place for you to showcase your skills and your experience to potential employers.
Michelle Dobson, Head of Brands at PNet. Thanks very much. 2 minutes to 4.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
You think you know hunger. You don't. When you're 5 years old, you pass out from the cramps and your eyes are just wide open and you're looking to the adults around you to provide sustenance and there's no one to do it. These are the awful stories that are coming out of the Eastern Cape. For all the problems we have, we're still a land of plenty. It makes no sense that kids are still dying from acute malnutrition and hunger.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Remember when you had to wait for dial-up to connect? Technology moves on, so why are people still driving cars like it's 1999? Volvo's plug-in hybrids are the upgrade you've been waiting for. You don't need diesel power, you just need a second electric motor. Just like you updated from dial-up to fiber, you can upgrade your drive with electric for the city and fuel for the open road. Don't be the last one to catch up. You are late for your test drive. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
Every day, most of us spend an hour planning, prepping, and stressing over what's for dinner. That's around 29,200 hours of your life spent running from grocery store, the kitchen, to the fridge, to the stove. Why not spend that time running for yourself? Or towards something you love doing? And let You Cook handle dinner. Delivered, prepped, and ready to cook. So, choose You Cook and take back some me time. Visit youcook.co.za to find out how.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's early spring season features a stellar lineup of international and local talent. Enjoy favorites by Mozart, Beethoven, and Tchaikovsky. Concerts run at the Linda Auditorium on Thursday evenings from 7 to 28 August. Book at Quicket. Visit jpo.co.za for more info.
This is EWN.
Government uncovers an irregular tender valued at R500 million and no plan to deal with Johannesburg's homeless population. Good afternoon, I'm Monke Zikoko. A forensic investigation has found the Independent Development Trust irregularly awarded a tender worth about R500 million to an unqualified company. In 2022, the IDT was appointed as an implementing agent to facilitate the purchase of oxygen plants at 60 public hospitals. IDT awarded the tender to a company called Balking at an inflated value of R428 million. In January this year, the Department of Public Works appointed a forensic firm to probe the tender following allegations the tender was awarded to a company that did not meet basic requirements. Today, Public Works Minister Dean McPherson released the findings of the report. McPherson says one of the findings was that Balking did not have accreditation from the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority despite being awarded a tender to purchase medical equipment.
It was also determined that Balking was awarded facilities with a total offer of R428 million, which exceeded their CIDB grading threshold of R200 million, which means that they did not qualify at all to be awarded that project. The report, however, does not identify any relationship and or links between the appointed contractors and IDT or Department of Health officials.
Director for non-profit organization Accountability Now, Paul Hoffman, believes the Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga has put together a formidable team to help him investigate alleged corruption within the criminal justice system. The acting Deputy Chief Justice, who will chair the Commission of Inquiry, will be assisted by Advocate Sisisi Baloyi and Advocate Sandile Kumalo. The commission, established by President Cyril Ramaphosa, will probe allegations of criminality, corruption and political interference in the criminal justice system. This follows damning allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi earlier this month. The commission has been given a tight timeline of 3 months to produce an initial report, then 6 months for a full report. Hoffman says this commission could finish its work early if it can do the following.
If in their first report, the Madlanga Commission point out to government that the cause of the complaint is the failure of government to put in place what it was told in binding terms to put in place back in 2011 when the Constitutional Court ruled that to deal effectively with corruption, we need a body outside of executive control.
While the city of Johannesburg grapples with the mushrooming of illegal informal settlements, Mayor Dada Morero says a bigger problem the metro is facing is the soaring levels of homelessness. The city is, however, unable to move homeless people to temporary accommodation facilities due to a severe shortage of alternative housing. The law compels municipalities to provide shelter to homeless individuals as well as those residing in hijacked buildings and unlawful informal settlements before any evictions can take place. Morero says the city needs assistance with addressing homelessness.
There's a big problem in Johannesburg of homelessness. And I think we need everyone. We need private sector, we need government, civil society. so that all of us together can come in and say, what are the best solutions that we can put in place?
He adds that some homeless people have rejected government assistance.
We do have limited shelters, and they've also shown not to be effective, as some of the homeless people don't want to be in shelters. So there's a number of challenges about homelessness, which I think it requires all of society to respond and also contribute towards helping government that we find an everlasting solution on this matter.
On the political front, Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie is on a mission to snatch wards from both the ANC and DA in local municipalities, particularly in the Western Cape. He says he won't stand for claims that his party is a DA or ANC lackey, neither that a vote for his party is a default vote for either one of them. Despite the PA's partnership with both these parties in the Government of National Unity, McKenzie has told supporters there will be no holds barred in upcoming polls for the party. He says he is the fastest growing countrywide. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
In a Facebook Live to address supporters, Patriotic Alliance President Gayton McKenzie says he will be exacting revenge on coalition partners who have done in the PA in municipalities where there's no outright majority. Last month, the PA lost the mayoral chain in the Laingsburg municipality when the ANC switched alliances in favour of a DA mayor.
We must teach the DA and ANC a lesson. Now touch is a move. We've declared war in the Western Cape.
In May, the PA snatched a seat from the ANC in the Northern Cape hamlet of Sutherland. Now McKenzie is firing a warning shot that his party will take another ward from the ANC in a by-election in the Langeberg municipality, where the party's former councillor has defected to the PA.
In Beaufort West, we're going to teach them a lesson. Knysna, we are going to have a vote of no confidence, and we are not stopping.
McKenzie says his party is going all out to win wards in the Matsikama and Knysna municipalities in next month's by-elections. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And the Chinese government has allocated more than $28 million for recovery efforts following heavy rains and floods which ravaged Beijing. At least 30 people have been killed as heavy rains continue to fall in the country's capital. The dangerous conditions have prompted authorities to evacuate over 80,000 people. Videos on social media show rescuers struggling to reach stranded residents, as well as helicopters and drones ferrying food and other aid to the disaster zones. Chinese President Xi Jinping has urged authorities to plan for worst-case scenarios and rush the relocation of residents of flood-threatened areas. Gold is trading at $3,321.78 an ounce. The rand is at 17.96 to the dollar, 23.92 to the pound, 20.71 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $70.04 a barrel.
Protea Glen Soweto bumper-to-bumper traffic N12 westbound between the R554 Abubakar Drive and the R558 while in Parktown, heading towards Boysons, driving through the Joburg CBD, slow-moving traffic. This is on Empire Road between Berry Herzog and the M1. And in Sandton, traffic remains sluggish, heading towards Midrand, M1 North between Killarney Bends and the Patlu interchange.
In US sport, Desiree Ellis refuses to address rumours about her Banyana future as they return home from WAFCON. Australia complete West Indies tour with an 8-0 sweep. And Gary Ringrose to miss the third Lions test against the Wallabies.
A fine day in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to an overnight low of 2 degrees, peaking at a high of 19. Pretoria 3 and 20, Vereeniging 0 and 18. The top story in EWN this hour, a forensic investigation has found the Independent Development Trust irregularly awarded a tender worth about R500 million to an unqualified company.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 4 o'clock, it's Thabo Shole Mashau in for John Perlman, and we're together till 6. Thanks very much for being with us in the previous hour. Stick around, we've got 2 more to go and much more interesting content for you lined up. Amongst other things, we will be speaking on the issue of race and race within the ANC. The ANC Youth League leader Colin Malachi, says that he wants to see more diversity in the party. He was addressing Youth League members in the Eastern Cape over the weekend, and he said, I do not see white people. I do not see colours. I do not see Indians. Where are they? That's what he said, and we'll speak to him about that in a short while. And of course, a little bit later on, we want to touch on the Fly Safe Air issue. It's a bit sticky. We will be speaking to Solidarity, and we'll also be speaking to Kebby Jordan representing Fly Safe Air. You know, the more this goes on, it will create scarcity of flights. It would mean that you and I have to pay more for flights, and we're complaining about money already. Can this be avoided, or is this a strategy that will eventually benefit financially the airline industry? I'd love to know from you. 011-883-0702. Thanks for joining us. You're on 702.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, guys. On the Banyana chat, I really don't understand the criticism that they're getting. Because, I mean, they won the last AFCON, they reached the semi-final, and they literally lost it by conceding a goal in the last 2-3 minutes of the game. There's not much to criticize here. I mean, they're doing well. You'd ask anybody in a footballing sense if reaching a semi-final is something to be criticized. Absolutely not. So I think it's unfair, man. Sean here, Alberton.
I agree with you, Sean.
So work the price out for your nose and ear wax. Over how many times I do it, I end up just buying the wax machine. I'll do it myself. So my wife and kids get to see me walking around with these things sticking out my head, crying from the pain. Now I do it to my friends, so they get freebies. They said I'm better than the barber, so you know.
Karabo Charlie, I am with you on that.
Evan.
I cut my own hair. I shave my own head. I have a mirror in front of me and I have a mirror behind me. I will not go spend 60 rand on a cheese cob haircut. No ways. So on that, I'm with you.
No. It's not sparsamig. It's synig.
Synig.
Not sparsamig. Sparsamig means that you are using your money carefully. When you are stingy, you are synig. Sam.
The beauty of languages, hey, so you can't just Google a word and it will get... So I suppose that's a difference in translation between equivalent and direct translation. Thanks very much for that. Really appreciate it. In case you're wondering, what are we talking about? Earlier we asked, are you frugal? Are you stingy? On some items, are there things that you're not willing to spend money on? And what are those items? And thanks for those inputs. 072 702 1702, 12 after 4.
EWN Traffic.
With Karabo Charlie, how do the streets look, man?
Well, at this stage, not looking too bad. I have to say, no accidents have been reported on our highways. At this stage, just peak hour traffic heading into the Protea Glen area. That's in Soweto, bumper traffic. N12 westbound from the R554 Abu Bakr Drive all the way to the R558. Also, we have roadwork still causing some delays. This is in the Lenasia area on the Golden Highway between Fun Valley Road and the R554 Nirvana Drive, Parktown. That's traveling into Bramfontein. There's slow-moving traffic on Empire Road between Barry Herzog and the M1 Santon. That's if you're traveling towards Midrand. Expect some delays between the Killarney Bends and the Butlu interchange. Also traveling towards Germiston. That's driving through Alexandra. There's slow-moving traffic. N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange and Van Buren. And finally, if you're traveling towards Bedford View, that's coming from the Edenville Boksburg area. Expect heavy delays on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings.
8 to midnight.
Did you have
conversations with Jeffrey Epstein?
At lunch and breakfast and dinner, we'd all sit there together. There was food that was served there. These criminals are very charismatic and clever, trying to make people think that they know everything about the world. He made it out like he was a genius and he was running the world. And then also the only other times I saw him was when he took me into the bedroom. And then I don't know where he was the rest of the time.
Juliet Rose Bryant, author of The Dragon, the Apple, the Butterfly.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Ready to lead and make our world a better place? Regenesis School of Education proudly launches its revolutionary Bachelor of Education program. They don't just develop teachers, they develop conscious leaders equipped with IQ, STEM, AI, and emotional intelligence, studying the heart of Sandton and or online worldwide. With a world-class faculty trusted by over 1,000 corporations and 500,000 alumni from 150 countries. Enroll now at regenesis.net/education. Regenesis School of Education, awakening potential.
So we did a thing, a full commitment kind of thing. We've partnered with Sixt to bring worldwide to your doorstep. So you see how that's a serious thing. Because that's what you deserve. We know you're the GOAT. So, premium it is. Premium service, premium vehicles, premium you, premium us. Sani Sixt is all about adding extra to ordinary. Extra reach, extra countries, so you can be extra premium worldwide. Be the greatest of all time and rent Sani Sixt.
Calling all golf pros. Hollywood Bets invites you to step onto the green. Tee up, take a swing, and enjoy glorious golf action from electrifying competitions and thrilling live tournaments. Get ready to conquer the fairway and chase epic fortunes. Ready to master the odds and experience your crowning moment? Bet now on all the excitement and prepare to make your hole-in-one shot to sensational success. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Well, one of the newer parts of the B20 is that there's now a dedicated task force on industrial transformation and innovation. Its chairs Andrew Kirby.
The task force timing for South Africa is good. It's a really crucial time for us to sit back and think about how we can support industrialization and really drive a resilient economy. You can't have sustainable economic GDP growth without a strong industrial base.
The Money Show
on 702. 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa CIB, honored as the best bank for ESG in Africa and South Africa by Euro Money Awards for Excellence 2025. Your story matters. Absa registered FSP.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
17 minutes after 4 o'clock, the ANC Youth League leader, President Colin Malachi, says he wants to see more diversity in the party. Addressing a gathering, he said that I'm seated here and I do not see the proper spreading of the demographics of this country. Colin Malachi joins me now to give us more insight on this, and he's the president of the African National Congress Youth League. Colin Malachi, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon and thanks for the invite.
You did mention that you do not see white people. What was the response from your members about this?
Look, it was an example of that the ANC must be a reflection of its program of the National Democratic Revolution, which mainly speaks about the non-racial character of the movement, where we must be a reflection of the demographics of the country, but also must be seen as an organization that unites everyone from all different races. Now, it must worry any revolutionary, but also it's not about the ANC, it's about South Africa as a whole, that we must be a reflection of all our demographics. Now, as we have positioned ourselves as a leader of society, we must be worried when we are in meetings of the ANC, whether it's political education or decision-making meetings of the Youth League, and you don't see the demographics reflecting there. As much as we're saying that the demographics must also reflect in the economy and everywhere else, but ourselves also, the ANC must not be only blacks party. it must have a non-racial character. Now, that was me saying to the youth that we need to self-correct and start to recruit all national groups to form part of the ANC Youth League.
Currently, what is the proportional representative of the demographics that you are speaking about in the ANC Youth League particularly?
Look, it's a very bad reflection. I can give you an example with the National Executive Committee that I belong to. I'm sure I've got only about 3 or 4 people from different national groups, and we're about close to 50 people. Now, it's a very bad reflection. Remember, the Youth League is a preparatory school of the ANC. Now, if we don't self-correct ourselves at the level of the Youth League to our branches to recruit more people from different national groups, that reflection will reflect in the Youth League, because these leaders who are prepared here ultimately are going to be leaders of the ANC Youth League and also leaders of the country. Now, we need to start at that level to educate society.
Yeah. What do you think is a big 10 off from for the ANC Youth League as it relates to other racial groupings that you've just mentioned here? Are you not receptive? Is the environment and the climate not conducive to welcoming them? In your own diagnosis as the leader, what have you picked up as a big 10 off or something that may just drive other racial groupings away?
Look, I think the main turn off in most cases is on the issues of how we mobilize and organize. I think over time, post 94, 96, moving forward up to the 2000s, we've started to only mobilize only in areas where they're mainly black dominated because of wanted to attract only majorities because of the ANC being a part that contest elections. Now we forgot also the role that minority groups have played into the liberation of South Africa, where the likes of Joe Slovo and many others who left the legal privileges that they had during that time to fight for justice. Now, we're an internationalist organization. Now, we must be a reflection of society and must be seen that we're not a racist organization. Now, I think the most important thing is that we need to develop more programs that addresses the minority groups, because they might not have the same problems as ours, but all of us who live in one country, and the nation building agenda needs everyone to be involved, especially now that we are moving towards the national dialogue on how we must build a better South Africa and move forward 21 years later. Now, I think as the Youth League, we have a responsibility to go on the ground and mobilize and respond to the call of the minority group and go and do engagements with them to understand why have they left the Congress movement.
Well, sticking to young people, if you will, Colin, if we had right now, let's just assume a Mariki Jube listening to us right now, and Mariki was a 22-year Afrikaner young lady and was listening to this conversation, and they asked you a question and said, what's in it for me in the Youth League? Will I feel welcome? What is it in for me if I were to get that membership card of the ANC Youth League specifically? What would you say to them? What would attract them to the Youth League? I'm trying to move away from platitudes, and I'm trying to be very particular about this question, because I did ask the former President Jacob Zuma many years ago, when I was still a journalist on the field, about this issue, and I didn't get a very clear answer on that. So I'm posing it to you that what do they have to gain? Because currently they are not magnetized by your programs, perhaps the leadership and everything else, maybe the rhetoric. What do they stand to benefit if they were to take you for your word?
Look, they stand to benefit in a platform, a democratic platform of the Youth League, that they can influence a direction that they want to take. One is that in the Youth League, as a democratic organization, we allow many other views, but also we believe in a program of a non-racial character of South Africa, which is united. Now, everyone else has a right to a view, unlike other political parties that are mobilizing on the basis of race and basis of different rhetorics. But we're saying, Tina, one is that this is a platform for you to express and influence how you want South Africa to move forward, and as the leader of the movement. Now, it's the only organization that allows that platform and is democratic about that, but also believe in the Freedom Charter. We believe that the land below the soil shall be shared amongst those who live in it and work it. We believe that majority of South Africans and also minorities, the demographics of the country and the economic activities must reflect that. Now, it allows full participation of everyone to have equal opportunities. We fight against inequalities and injustice of the past.
Sure.
Now, that person will be participating in a program of uniting South Africans. And I think everyone must play in that role.
Isn't it more difficult in the Youth League to rise as a white, colored, or even Indian individual within the Youth League? As you would know that...
Hello?
Hi, Colin, can you hear me? Colin? Can you hear us? Hey, Colin is gone. Colin is gone. We'll try to get him back. I just wanted to squeeze in one quick question. We have just a minute remaining. It's 24 minutes after 4 o'clock.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
What is the measure you use as to what is an irrational fear and what is a rational fear when it comes to the kind of influence that your child has around them?
So I would say, what exactly is the behavior that is probably bothering you? Is this particular child rude? Are they secretive? Are they wild? It could be a projection maybe. Sometimes they remind you of something that frustrated you. So you want to weigh that up, and depending on your child's age, you also want to have conversations about some of these things.
Ayanda Tetiana.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Gauteng's heartbeat is found in its local businesses, the ones that work tirelessly, selflessly and show up every day with purpose. That's why 702 and Yoko are proud to bring back Gauteng's greatest awards, a celebration of the entrepreneurs who make this province feel like home. From your go-to coffee counter to the barber shop that's seen your family grow, this is your chance to say, I see you. Go to primemediaplus.com now to explore our 21 carefully curated categories and nominate the local businesses that make a difference in your life. Because Gauteng isn't just the hub of business, it's the home of excellence, and excellence deserves your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Let Yoko counter fuel your business to greatness. Go to yoko.com to explore the new point of sale solution, saving hundreds of businesses time and money.
It's Winter Carnival at Food Lovers Market. Get 6 2-litre bottles of Pepsi Zero, Light or 7-Up sugar-free for $59.99. 2 2-litre bottles of Food Lovers canola oil for R110. 3 400-gram packs of assorted Food Lovers cheese for R150. And 2 packs of Food Lovers 2-ply toilet paper 18s for R200. Valid until 3 August. Only at Food Lovers Market. Winter Carnival now on.
At Bright, we don't just provide business insurance, we insure your businesses.
Future success.
Because your business is so much more than desks and computers and equipment, which is why we use our specialist expertise to tailor solutions for each client differently to ensure what's really important. So insure your businesses.
Financial security, BT.
With Bright today, contact your broker or go to brightinsure.co.za to find out more. Bright. Approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
EWN Business.
From the president to the SG, Stephen Grootes.
That's very good.
Right, yeah.
Good.
With us to give us the very latest in the world of business, markets, money, and everything in between. Hey, Steve.
Good afternoon to you, Tubbo. Well, a positive day for the JSE All Share. A couple of sort of big shares reporting back. They're slightly higher today. Some of the consumer shares up nicely as well. So the JSE All Share up 0.42%, back above 99,000, and hopefully we'll head towards 100,000 later. 99,107 is where it is at the moment. Financials up nearly 0.5%. Industrials up 0.62%. Resources down 0.09%. So platinum still fairly strong. Gold a little bit softer than we've sort of come to expect. Pick and Pay shares up 5.36%, while Boxer shares are up 4.5%. Now, I think this is all about Boxer. Don't forget, Pick and Pay still have a big stake in Boxer. So Boxer's turnover in the 17 weeks to the end of June was up 12.1%. Its like-for-like growth was 3.9%. Now, Tabo, when I was reading this on Sens this morning, I was like, really? This can't be right. This is what they say. Internal food inflation for the period was negative.
What?
Was negative 0.6%. In other words, over this period,
Yeah.
you paid less for food if you bought the same basket of goods at Boxer than you did the time before.
Really?
And now, I quite like this. It's because of the promotions they used during the period.
Yeah.
Okay. It also says it's going to change the way it assesses this figure as a result because it just doesn't really make sense. Now, I must just say a couple of things.
Yes.
First, food price inflation was very high. When it
Yes.
goes down, you get what's called a sort of base effect.
Yeah.
So you're comparing like with like.
I see.
And
Yes.
so the numbers sort of don't always make sense.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The second thing is that Pick and Pay generally,
Yeah.
obviously, recovery, etc.,
Yes.
ShopRite,
Yeah.
and suddenly they're sort of taking on ShopRite. And how you do it is through promotions. And MoneyWeb actually had what I think will turn out to be a very important
Yeah.
story last week. They suggested that Pick and Pay's promotions have been lasting longer than ShopRite's.
Really?
And this is where the fun's going to start.
Yeah.
That some of the Pick and Pay suppliers, very worried about only being able to sell to ShopRite in the future, were helping Pick and Pay along.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, isn't Boxer the blue-eyed boy for Pick and Pay?
Yes. So if Boxer does well, Pick and Pay generally
Yes,
will
yes.
overall
Yeah.
do well. So it's all part of the same
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
I mean, they're a family that gets on. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't see that all the time. So they're doing quite nicely today. The other big share that's up today, nearly 5%, is Kumba. So they reported a 4% drop in revenue for the first half of the year. But that's during a period of a 6% fall in real iron ore prices. What they've been able to do is that they've got basically a higher quality ore, and because of that, they're able to get a premium on the price. So they're getting slightly above the average. There is, I can't remember the name. It's called, wait here, I have it here. They are improving what's called an ultra-high density media separation plant.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't mean you separate AM and FM. What it means is that you separate... It's about getting the iron out of the ore. Okay.
Now we know.
Now we know. That's what we're doing. I had the CEO explain it to me last time because I couldn't keep up. So when that comes online, they'll start to really be able to do that. But they are still talking about China increasing its iron exports and global demand still being fairly weak. So all of that having an impact. Blue Label Telecom's up again today. Aspen up 2.27. Nedbank, Telkom, Advitech all up by around 2%. Some of the platinum miners down. Valterra down 3.36. They had their announcements there. Half-year results out yesterday. Sabania also down 3%, while Glencore down 2.5% on the day. In the US, I'm getting bored with reading this on Reuters. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq open at record highs. So it's a big week of trading of basically company earnings reports in the US. So we're talking tech essentially.
Yeah.
Also, everybody waiting to see what the US Federal Reserve will do. The Dow Jones is down 0.09. The Nasdaq is up 0.2. The S&P 500 is up 0.13. All right, the gold price, $3,315.65. Platinum, $1,403.90. Brent crude slightly up, $70.89. The rand to the dollar as $17.95. I'm sure that's over concerns around tariffs on Friday. To the euro, 20.68. To the British pound, 23.90. That's not all, says the man. On the Money Show tonight, Mkhabisi, join us on tariffs. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Definitely can't wait for that one. Something that's coming up right now. Mongezi Koko will give us the very latest with Eyewitness News headlines. Hi, Mongezi.
That's right, Tabo. Good afternoon. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Moraero has defended the hefty cost of repairing Lillian Ngoyi Street in the CBD, explaining that the funds will also be used to upgrade the entire corridor. The busy street was severely damaged by an underground gas explosion 2 years ago, and the Metro has pledged to complete the repairs by the end of next month. Nearly 200 million rand has been set aside for the project, raising questions about the high cost of restoring just a portion of the 2-kilometer stretch. Moraero has clarified that the budget covers more than just road repairs.
We took a view to refurbish the entire Lillian Ngoyi to ensure that we can extend the pavements, bring in trees, bring in street furniture, and perhaps maybe that is why the costs might have went as high as 194.
Moraero has assured residents that the repairs will be completed by the specified deadline.
As opposed to just addressing where the explosion happened, we said let's address the whole street. And that's what we are doing on Lillian Ngoyi. We are completing it by the end of August, and we are on track. Just around the 1st of September, I'll be around there just to open the road once more.
Gauteng Deputy Police Commissioner Fred Kekana has assured the public that all outstanding investigations in the murder case of 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek will be concluded by the time the trial begins. Kekana addressed members of the media earlier after Meek's failed bail application at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court. He says they are satisfied with the outcome of today's proceedings. Meek will remain in custody for the murder of her 11-year-old son, whose body was discovered a few meters away from her Vleerhof apartment in May. Kekana says they have a few points that still need to be finalized.
As we alluded previously, that Sispindi has indicated that there were some little loose ends which need to be tightened up, and those reports that are outstanding will be available when the trial starts.
At the same time, 2 suspects have been arrested in Meyersdal, south of Johannesburg, after they were found in possession of 30 unlicensed firearms destined for the Western Cape. They were nabbed during an intelligence-driven operation last night. The police's anti-kidnapping task team believes they are part of a syndicate involved in the trafficking of unlicensed firearms. Spokesperson Athland Amate says both suspects have been linked to various other cases in Gauteng and the Western Cape.
The arrest of the 34 and 45-year-old suspects follows several days of surveillance and information gathering across provinces by the SAPS anti-kidnapping task team. The suspects were found with 39mm unlicensed firearms.
A strike by some Fly Safair pilots continues for a second week. Now, the airline and trade union Solidarity have been involved in discussions under the supervision of the CCMA since last week. Affiliated pilots are demanding a more than 10% salary increase and a reworked rostering system, while the employer has been offering only about half of that. Fly Safair's Kirby Gordon.
So at the moment, there are about 200 that are represented by the union, but there are a number of them that have returned to work. And obviously there are the non-unionized pilot force that are there as well. So as it stands, we've actually got the majority of pilots actively flying our passengers. At this stage, what we've done is we've had to right-size our schedule going forward, so well into next week.
He adds they've reduced flights by combining them.
So, for example, you would have had 2 departures within the space of an hour from Cape Town to Johannesburg, and what we've done is combined those flights when they were still half full into one, and said, look, we only need one set of crew to operate that. So the actual number of seats that we've got in the market are down about 30% for us.
And in the UK, fans have been given a chance to pay their last respects to heavy metal legend Ozzy Osbourne in Birmingham. The singer's funeral procession will pass through his home city tomorrow. Thousands of fans are expected to show up, and the Birmingham Council has encouraged mourners to turn up early as roads will be closed from 7 a.m. The 76-year-old died last week, 17 days after a performance in Buckingham. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 0 and 3 degrees and highs of between 18 and 20 degrees.
Protea Lane, Soweto, bumper traffic N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Also still in Protea Lane, traffic is heavily backed up on the R559 main road, that's opposite GOG Gardens. And in Parktown, heading towards Boysen, slow-moving traffic. This is on the M1 southbound between Kilani Benz and the Crown Interchange.
The top story in EWN, Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero has defended the hefty cost of repairing Lillian Ngoyi Street in the CBD, explaining that the funds will also be used to upgrade the entire corridor.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Godfrey Libya confirmed on the show last week that you have provided information to the Hawks as an informant, which has been credible before.
That is not true. In fact, please put it on record that I have never provided information to the Hawks. I'm not a police informant, and he wouldn't say that.
Hold on. He wouldn't say that? He did say it on this show. Listen to this.
He provided the information to us, which in the past we had to work on it.
I'm actually appalled. I'm not an informant, as he says. If I were to show you our WhatsApp conversation, there's nothing about providing information, credible information.
So what were you guys talking about since 2023 on WhatsApp with the head of the Hawks?
We're talking about things that have nothing to do with being an informant.
Malcolm X?
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Get ready, Mzansi. Powerball has rolled over to a massive 100 million rand guaranteed jackpot this Tuesday. You heard right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 100 million rand jackpot today, and you could hit it lucky. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Vodacom's Red Hot Deals presents more value. Get the Samsung Galaxy A05s 128 gig on a Flexi 160 plan for just $179 per month over 36 months. Enhance your deal. Add 99 extra per month to get 10 gigs of data and a free Vodacom Smart Tab 8. Available in-store and online. Miss it, miss out. T's and C's apply.
Red Hot Deals.
Further together. Vodacom.
Medical aid plans, they're normally like this.
So, you'll need to take this form and this. So don't forget this too. Okay, wait. Don't forget this one. Wait. Okay, done.
My back!
Sorry, sir. That's gonna have to come out of your savings.
At Bonitas, we make our plans simple, so they're easy to understand. We also offer a benefit booster and a range of other benefits that don't come off your savings. Visit bonitas.co.za when you need us. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hey, Tabo. The interview you just had with Colin reminds me of one assertion that Helen Zille has made, that the ANC is the most racist country. And she was also referring to the structures and the membership and the nationalities of the races in the hierarchy and even in the NEC itself. So, yeah. I guess, yeah, she had a point, and Kimo Colin is also agreeing to that. And we all know that, Luna, anyways.
You put it correctly. What is in for the youth that are not black? Let him answer to say, when that's why people are moving away from the ANC. Because job opportunities, private government sector, when it's been advertised, black. When there's EWP programs, only blacks that been appointed. It's not a racial thing. It's an ANC that make it a racial thing because of the majority voters. ANC was never for South Africans. Even if they speak, they say it's for black Africans in particular. So the youth must get it, that youth leader must get it correct. Because go to any program that are there where people are benefiting. You will only see that black people are there because they were the only ones that was told about such programs or such benefits.
Yeah, just for the record, because we are in the business of disseminating accurate information, the ANC would argue that they're for blacks in general, Africans in particular. I'm not taking away your point, by the way. I'm just avoiding a consequent comeback later where they say, but why didn't you correct that? But your point is well made, and I absorb it. In case you've just joined us, we spoke to the ANC Youth League President Colin Malachi a little bit earlier on his assertions that he doesn't see white people and other races other than just mainly black membership within his party and the Youth League in particular. So we were chatting about that, and I asked him why should other races, other young people from other races actually be magnetized, be attracted to the ANC Youth League. Of course, the phone lines didn't do us any justice, and I wanted to ask him about just generally being receptive to a diversity of membership, but more importantly, why is it that so many other people feel that they do not have a space within that youth league? So he then proffered a response to us, and this is what he had to say.
We have developed a program of the Youth League to engage on national groups from all different areas. We're going to engage with NGOs and everyone else that wants to assist us with that. The part of the program is as a form of an engagement through our sessions that we're having. We'll be inviting some of them to come and engage us, including those that are associated with Afrikaner groups and many other groups, because we want everyone to unite and work with us in this nation-building agenda, so that when we go to a national dialogue, we only have one voice, but a voice that protects the interests of South Africans. Because we believe as a youth league that the future belongs to us and must define us. And we're inspired by generations before us who, during dark days, united all racial groups to fight against injustice of the past. If they could do that, we can also unite to fight for a better South Africa.
Well, that was the ANC Youth League president. It's 17 minutes to 5 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
I'm wondering if you are the president of Sports Broadcasters, Tholakele, but you'll share that with us shortly. Tholakele Mkanga with Sports News.
Thanks so much, Tabo. Rassie Erasmus has confirmed that Kanan Moody and Cheslin Colby are the only players in the Springbok squad dealing with injuries ahead of the Rugby Championship. Moody is dealing with a hand issue while Colby has a knee problem, but they're both expected to be fit for the back-to-back clashes against Australia next month. At the same time, Erasmus has discussed how junior box Batabele Hlegane, Cheswin Yosta and Hashim Pete have been coping in training.
We try to have three positions deep in experience and being calm and understanding the Springbok setup, and also get enough youth involved there. But if you get three injuries in one position, and that can happen in one game, 2 games, you can have 3 injuries in one position. So, we definitely don't see those guys playing test matches this year, but getting them used to the environment here and wherever they go for their franchise.
Wallabies coach Joe Schmidt will not face any disciplinary action for his comments on the controversial conclusion to last Saturday's second British and Irish Lions test. At the same time, World Rugby have confirmed that the findings of an ongoing review into Jack Morgan's clean-out won't be made public. Schmidt and Rugby Australia had called for accountability. That's under Piardi's decision not to disallow a late Lions trial for foul play by Morgan when clearing out Carlo Tizzoni at the breakdown. Switching to football, where Deswe Ellis says it's back to square one for Banyana Banyana as she shifts focus to qualifying for next year's Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Following their 4th place finish at this year's edition, they'll return to action in October in a qualifier against the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Maybe it's a good thing. We expected WAFCON to be 2024 and we were practically ready for that, and then it's a year later, which gives you a little bit more time, but it also doesn't give you that time because you now have to prepare differently. But we can't look at the WAFCON if we haven't even played the qualifier yet. We have to make sure that we focus on the task at hand, which is the qualifier right now.
And New Zealand captain Tom Latham has been ruled out of the first test against Zimbabwe that gets underway tomorrow. Mitch Stanner will lead the team in Latham's absence after he injured a shoulder while fielding in a T20 match in England earlier this month. Tholakele Mkanga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Where are you most likely to be stuck, Karabo, on the roads?
Well, at this stage, Thabo, if you are traveling between Midrand and Germiston, there's that 30-minute delay on the N3 southbound between the Butler interchange and Van Buren. There's also slow-moving traffic in Edenvale coming from Edenvale, Boksburg, heading into Bedfordview. Heavy delays. R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange. Sandton, bumper-to-bumper traffic. That's on the M1 northbound from Killarney Bains all the way to the Butler interchange. In the opposite direction, heading towards Braamfontein in Parktown, slow-moving traffic. Empire Road between Berry Herzog and the M1. In Protea Glen, we also have bumper-to-bumper traffic still on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Still in the Protea Glen Soweto area, traffic heavily backed up. R559 Main Road opposite GOG Gardens. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
John Perlman not here. Thabo Shola Mashao in for John. Thanks for joining us. Together with you for the next hour or so and a little bit extra. It's 13 minutes to 5 o'clock right now. We had an interview earlier on about South Africans not being happy in their jobs, doing their work, waking up every single morning. Some are complaining about the dilemma of Monday and they really, really don't like what they're doing. So it prompted us to ask a question. Are you doing what you love at your work? Is this something that you've always wanted to do when you were in school? Is it something that you were always thinking, I want to be a cop, and now you work at a police station and you love it? or you wanted to work at a bank because you saw those people working at the bank or the airlines or anything else. So, Tholakele, did you always want to work for 702 and doing sports? And is this giving you joy? And you wake up every morning. There's no Monday for you. You don't mind waking up.
There's no need. There's no need. We're sorted there.
Yeah, the contracts are signed already, I suppose.
I always knew I wanted to be a sports journalist.
Okay.
For me, when I first thought of sports journalism, writing for print was like the be-all and the end-all.
How old were you then, if you don't mind asking?
14, 15.
Okay.
And then when I went to university, I love to tell the story. I met a wonderful lady named Spahle Mota, who works for the SABC currently. And when we were in our second year in university, she said to me, because Wits has a station called Voice of Wits.
Yeah.
She said, Buds, it's your last year. Just try it and see if you like it.
Yeah.
Literally went for one interview. The next day, Michael Smithwaite, who was the station manager there, said, please come back.
Yeah.
And then it just opened many,
The rest
many
is
doors.
history.
I never set a target on where I wanted to work and all of those things. But I also believe that what you love to do evolves over time. And that's why now I've gone back to school and I'm doing something that's completely different to what I'm doing now.
Nuclear science.
Yes. So,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Watch me, guys.
Yeah.
Because I just, you don't have to be one thing for the rest of your life.
No, definitely.
The things that you love to do,
There's so
explore them all.
much.
Even if you fail, at least you tried that. I'd rather live in the, okay, I tried it, but I wasn't a success.
It's
rather
the
than
first
sitting
time
back.
agreeing with you in 68 years.
How about we go to
of
the same church?
knowing
How
you.
believe you in anything
No,
that pastor says at church?
no, I said agreed, not believe. No, agreed, not believe. Those are two different things.
That's
And when
Tholakele
I'm
for
Mr.
you.
Clapping hands, are you the chairperson of the Tholakele Mganga fan club?
To be honest,
Clapping so hard.
coming to think of it, hey, I've always wanted to be in radio, ever
Really?
since primary school.
Yeah.
I remember coming home after school. Remember those tapes, cassettes,
Yeah.
and like I'll record a song and then back announce
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and talk some gibberish and then play it for my
Yeah.
mother and she'll clap. Like, oh,
So
you
you're
sound
born
so
in the
good.
60s. You look that way. I was not too sure.
So yeah, so radio has always been my thing, but I never thought I would ever work for a talk radio station.
I mean, you know, you're saying that, and I'm joking, Karabo, for people who don't know that I joke like this.
Yeah.
I'm sure that listeners are saying, why is so mean? This is just my
No,
horrible humor.
100, yeah.
But I loved what you said because that's the story of people who love radio, especially who grew up when there were cassette players
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
We all did that. We all had our voice recordings
Nice.
because we loved it so much. So I'd love to hear from you on 072 702 1702. Is this what you've always wanted to do? Wherever you are right now, is this what you really wanted to do, or did things change along the way? 9 minutes to 5 o'clock.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
Green tip of the week is brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo. Each week we'll highlight someone or something impacting the way we can be greener, cleaner, and smarter, healthier, and eco-friendly. And our guest, Christine Groenewald, environmental sustainability educator at Stellenbosch University. Christine, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. I hope you're good.
Thank you, Tandu. Yes, I'm fine at the end of a long day.
It's a very difficult subject to deal with because some people may think we always hear about green, 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 and but very important matter not to ignore anyway, Christine.
Definitely. And it's not so difficult. It's all about changing small little things we do every day so that it becomes our habits, and then it's not difficult anymore.
What are some of those things, if you don't mind assisting
Yes.
us, because we're just focusing for context here on water-saving habits, especially at home. How do we make sure that we use green ways of saving our water?
I think if we start with the kind of the obvious things, anybody who had to save water had a quota that they needed to adhere to. It's small little things like not washing your hands under a running tap, kind of soaping up and then rinsing, brushing your teeth, not under a running tap, but use a cup and fill it up with water, brush, and then rinse. the more difficult things, I think it's things like showering with buckets. I'm not sure if
Yes.
anybody here, that's still a kind of a reality coming from the Cape Town area
Yes.
where day zero was
A
very
reality.
close.
Yes.
And I still do that. It was
Really?
kind of drilled in those days, where literally this could be the last drop. It's a simple thing, but you have to get a few extra buckets and then flush your toilet with it. But other things, it's only getting into the habit of washing and your dishes, if you have a dishwasher, when the loads are full. Reusing water wherever you can. For instance, water that's left over from, cooking and steaming. Use that water if you've got indoor plants, and give your plants some love.
I suppose we are not only, I suppose it's important to do it for green reasons, but also for cost savings as well, because municipalities killing all of us with water costs. So if you don't do it for green reasons, rather do it for your pocket as well.
For your pocket, definitely. And I think it's working with students, that's the message that we give them.
Yeah.
It's a habit that you learn now, but it will last you, for the rest of your life when you start paying the bills.
Yeah.
So get used to it.
It may not seem like a very fashionable and catchy topic or discussion, Christine, but this is very important because we see the importance of water when our taps are dry. That's when it really knocks some sense into our heads. Small thing like going to the bathroom, that's when it just reminds you that it may not be a sexy topic, but it's very much intrinsic to our survival.
And that is, and unfortunately, I think as human beings, we know what we need to do. It's like mentally we know, but we keep on pushing it out until, we can't anymore. When there's literally, the last drop in the tap, and only then are we forced into this alternate type of behavior.
Apologies. I was just eager to just add this before time runs out. Say something about rainwater and how we can use that. It always gets to me every time it's raining that should I take out some tubs and then what can we do practically that doesn't seem too tiresome?
I think obviously if you've got the finances, invest in some rainwater tanks that you can catch it up. But if you don't, use buckets. A family of mine has got buckets all around the house when it's raining, kind of at the downpipes, and then they store that water in bottles that they use on the plants. So any little bit helps, but to really do a proper job when it's raining, a rainwater harvest tank would be the best thing.
And speaking of tanks, Jojo tanks are definitely a necessity as well during these difficult days.
Yes, definitely.
And lastly, how do we also, perhaps as schools and various communities, how can we spread this message and how can we use greener ways of saving water, particularly in schools, because we have a number of children attending each schooling community, and I'm sure that the results would be positive if they could be socialized at that age.
Absolutely. I think that's where a lot of our work needs to focus. So if the infrastructure allows it for the school to have all these water tanks to catch up rainwater, then wonderful. The communities can maybe, gather around and help finance if it's possible. But the small messages in the bathrooms, when you wash your hands, this is the way we wash our hands. This is the way we flush our toilets. If there's a leak, report it immediately. The kids can really become leak detectives. So if they see any leakages, they can report it in the toilets or on the taps. And I think that's a place to start. But we need to model what we teach. So if it's possible at all and the infrastructure can support that, that's the first prize.
Thanks a million, Christine Groenewald. Remember when you had to wait for dial-up to connect? Technology moves on, so why are people still driving cars like it's 1999? Volvo's plug-in hybrids are the upgrade you've been waiting for. You don't need diesel power, you just need a second electric motor. Just like you updated from dial-up to fiber, you can upgrade your drive with electric for the city and fuel for the open road. Don't be the last one to catch up. You are late for your test drive. It's safe to be brave with Volvo. Tune in again next week, Tuesday, for another Green Tip of the Week. It was brought to you by Volvo.
You are the biggest saver we've ever had.
2,794 Rand a month. It was the easiest switch ever.
What was the real deal they could offer you?
870.
That's amazing. You're always getting something out.
Yeah.
I've been battling to get nice car insurance. Outsurance, I found them. I'm saving a cool $360.
Get the real deal with the real savings.
I made the right move.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
Just phone Outsurance, get a quote and see what they can offer you. If you don't save that $321 like I did, you might say get a $500 or $1,000 back. Service and savings, you'll always get something out. How is it that Outsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible. What brought you and Outsurance together?
718 Rand. I end up saving.
They gave you the real deal.
It literally is the real deal.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Unfold extraordinary with the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 512 gig. Get it on a 6 gig Red Core plan from 1,749 per month over 36 months. Experience cinematic viewing, seamless multitasking, and next level productivity. Pre-order yours today from Vodacom, Mzansi's winning 5G network. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
This is EWN.
A 150 million rand price tag set for judicial inquiry into Mkwanazi's corruption allegations and the Eastern Cape government's flood victims' rehousing plans afoot. Good afternoon, I'm Monkey Zikoko. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System is set to cost almost 148 million rand over 6 months. Now, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development confirmed the amount to EWN in a written email. During a briefing in Sandton yesterday, Acting Deputy Chief Justice and Chairperson of the Commission, Mbuyiseli Madlanga, informed the media he was not in a position to talk about the cost, directing all questions to the department. The Judicial Commission was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa to probe allegations of corruption and collusion within the criminal justice system made public by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Oren Singh reports.
The estimated cost of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into the criminal justice system has been set at 147.9 million rand. The budget will form part of a standard operating procedure to be tabled to Cabinet by Justice Minister Mamaloko Kubai for approval. According to the department, the budget and SOP will cover organizational structure and reporting formats, information security and storage, monitoring and implementation mechanisms, compensation structures for commissioners, employees, legal professionals and researchers, administrative costs, including office leases, digital infrastructure and security arrangements. The department will also oversee procurement process for the Commission's operations, adding they've applied to National Treasury for a deviation from standard procurement processes and are currently awaiting a response. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
The Eastern Cape Provincial Government says it has made significant strides to resettle families affected by last month's damaging floods. Following the disaster which left hundreds of communities displaced around the province, government has prioritized the construction and allocation of temporary residential units in high-priority areas. It says the construction of the temporary units is at an advanced stage, with 28 units ready for occupation and a further 3 due to be completed by tomorrow. Tandoluhle Ngobo has that story.
The Eastern Cape government says a deadline for the remaining 89 residential units is planned for August, with families expected to move in phases as the units become available. It says in the King Sabata Dalindyebo local municipality, Contractors are on standby for the installation of more than 470 temporary residential units. Ongoing consultations with traditional leaders, landowners and community representatives are being conducted, while spatial planning processes have also been initiated to facilitate the establishment of formal townships. The South African Social Security Agency has also made preparation for the provision of social relief of distress vouchers to enable families to set up once they have moved to the TRUs. Thanduluhle Ngcobo, Eyewitness News.
Staying in the Eastern Cape, the families of the Lusikisiki massacre victims say they are worried about delays caused by recent developments in the case. Now, trial proceedings were set to continue in the Mthatha High Court sitting in the Lusikisiki Magistrates Court today. However, the matter was postponed to tomorrow due to legal representatives having to go through additional documents. 6 men face 18 murder charges in the matter and an array of others, including conspiracy to commit murder, kidnapping and robbery with aggravating circumstances. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports from the Eastern Cape.
When proceedings resumed earlier, the state was expected to lead evidence from its first witness. But after submitting an additional document which includes some aspects of the case, accused one, the alleged mastermind behind the hit, Mzuki Sindamase, said he needs time to go through the document as he is legally representing himself. The lawyers representing the other 5 accused also told the court they need time in this regard. While the lawyers said they needed only 2 hours, Judge Richard Brooks postponed the matter to tomorrow, something David King says the families are not happy about.
It was the same thing yesterday. New documents were found for them to be given to the attorneys and to the accused. My question is, why weren't they not given yesterday? So I'm becoming very skeptical now, in the sense that who knows tomorrow if it's not going to be the same. New documents are going to be given to the accused and the attorneys and delaying the whole process.
King said the families came to court with so many expectations, hoping the witness testimony will answer some of their questions. The matter will return to court tomorrow. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape.
Police in Gauteng say they've made more than 25 drug trafficking arrests since the beginning of the year at the OR Tambo port of entry. This follows the arrest of a 25-year-old alleged drug trafficker who landed in the country from Doha, coming from Sao Paulo earlier today. Now, police say they intercepted the Brazilian national shortly after landing, acting on intelligence information. A search of the suspect's luggage led police to uncover about 10 kilograms of cocaine with an estimated value of 4.2 million rand. Police say the regular arrests of drug mules at the OR Tambo International Airport should send a stern warning that police are on alert to clamp down on criminality. Spokesperson Amanda van Wyk.
SAPS continues to record commendable successes in dismantling transnational drug syndicates operating between South Africa and other countries. Through targeted intelligence-led operations, more than 25 drug traffickers were arrested since the beginning of the year at this port of entry.
And the city of New York says the gunman who killed 4 people when he stormed into a skyscraper left a note that appeared to blame the National Football League for a brain injury. 27-year-old Shane Tamura shot himself immediately after opening fire in a building at the American Football League headquarters. At least 6 people were killed in the incident. Here's the city's mayor, Eric Adams.
From our preliminary investigation, he took the wrong elevator bank up to the NFL headquarters. Instead, it took him to Rudin Management, and that is where he carried out additional shootings and took the lives of additional employees.
Gold is trading at $3,323.99 an ounce. The rand is at 17.93 to the dollar, 23.90 to the pound, 20.69 to the euro. Brent oil is at $70.04 a barrel.
Kelland Randburg area, there's traffic pressure, Bayers Naudé between the N1 and Judges. Also in Sandton, traffic remains sluggish. M1 northbound from Killarney Bends all the way to the Butlu interchange and driving through Alexandra. Heading towards Germiston, expect about a 30-minute delay. N3 south between the Butlu interchange and Galdenace.
In your sport, a Mamelodi Sundowns clean sweep expected at tonight's PSL Awards. Newcastle United yet to receive Alexander Isak offer amid Liverpool interest. An India coach involved in confrontation with Surrey ground staff.
A fine day in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to an overnight low of 2 degrees, peaking at a high of 19. Pretoria's at 3 and 20, Vereniging 0 and 18. The top story in EWN this hour. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System is set to cost almost 148 million rand over the next 6 months.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7.
And 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 5 o'clock, it's Thabo who is in for John Perlman. Thank you very much for staying with us this long. We are on the last hour now, and I look forward to your comments, your assertions, your views about everything else that we've touched on. Speaking of things that we have touched on, coming up in a short while, we will be speaking about that Fly Safe protest strike that is underway. It's supposed to be almost done, but we'll hear from KB Gordon shortly about what is it that they are still yet to discuss. And we'll actually speak to Helgat Cronje, who is a Deputy General Secretary of Public Sector Solidarity. And we want to know, where is the stumbling block? Because the longer this continues, scarcity is created. And it simply means that you and I have to dig a little bit deeper into our pockets if we want to travel using flights. Is this deliberate? Why can't they just find one another? What's a holdup? And we'll touch on that a little bit later on the show. Earlier, we were on a lighter note asking you, what job are you into now and do you really love it? And that's on the backdrop of the article by PNet. And they found that many South Africans are not happy in their jobs. I can just imagine that some pilots must be dissatisfied right now if they feel that they are hard done by. But you and your job, are you happy there? And is it something that you've always wanted to do? Or did circumstances lead you there and now you have no choice? It's a matter of availability of jobs more than you following your heart. Feel free to share that with us on 072 702 1702.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hello, Thabo and the rest of the 702 lenders. You are speaking to Z, and I'm here to tell you that I would rather not work. I'd rather spend money. There is absolutely no need to work. Akukho need. The only heavy lifting I wish I did is to shop, to decide which will be my next holiday vacation. I'm grateful to have a job, but I'd rather not work, man. What? It's too much of a hassle. It's too much. Thank you. Cheers.
Afternoon, Thabo and the listeners. No, definitely I'm one of those people that are not happy. I have 16 years working experience within the insurance industry. I think I'm what you would call a job hopper, but that's not so much because I'm choosing to. Sometimes I move because of circumstances and whatnot. So I really made a mistake last year of leaving my previous company, which was Momentum. And then I moved to where I previously used to work because I thought because I worked there before it would be better. But now I'm in a different department. Where I was working, it was hybrid. Now I drive all the way to Johannesburg and I stay in Pretoria. So yeah, I've left a couple of companies before. Never have I ever regretted leaving a job as much as I do now. Yeah, no, I think for this one I will remain anonymous. I'm busy applying, trying to get out of here, and so far my interviews are good, and I should be starting a new position again in September. Wow.
I really feel for you, and I hope that things look up and you get that job that you've applied for. There's nothing worse than waking up to go and work at a place that you don't really enjoy, to do what you don't want to do, and you are completely incongruent with your purpose in life. It must be very difficult, and I hope your bosses are not listening. 12 minutes after 5.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Mr. Charlie, how do the roads look?
Well, at the stage, if you're heading towards Kagiso, Leratong area, that's if you're traveling through Roodepoort, Durban Deep area. We have bumper-to-bumper traffic on Randfontein Road. That's between Mile Stoker and Adcock. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Protea Glen area. N12 westbound, the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Avoid that route. Also still in Protea Glen, traffic is heavily backed up. R559 Main Road opposite GOG Gardens. While in Careland, that's in the Randburg area, traffic pressure on Beyers Naudé between the N1 and Judges. In Parktown, also slow-moving traffic that's heading into Bramfontein on Empire Road between Berry Herzog and the M1. Sandton, traffic sluggish heading towards Midrand. M1 northbound between the Killarney Bends and the Bacludes Change. Also driving through the Alexandra area heading towards Germiston. Expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 southbound from the Bacludes Change all the way to Geldenhuys. And finally in Edenville, expect about a 20-minute delay. This is R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Like the feeling of hearing your favorite song on radio, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to ease the traffic congestion and make your day a little brighter. Because sometimes rush hour can turn into slow hour. Outsurance pointsmen getting you there quickly and safely since 2005. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag pointsmenlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
I spoke a little bit earlier on about the FlySafair pilots who have entered a strike, and this is its second week with no resolution in sight. Or maybe there would be some. I'll hear shortly from Solidarity, the union representing its pilots. And they said that they remain deadlocked over working conditions, and I would assume some financial incentives there. But someone who knows more about this, who's at the forefront of this, is Helgard Cronje, who's joining us right now, Deputy General Secretary, Public Sector Solidarity. Helgard, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702 once more.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's Helgard. Can you hear me?
Yes. I said thank you. It's a pleasure.
Sorry, I lost you for a second. Apologies for that. It was a slip of a button there from my end. Where are you now, Helgard? Because I thought that today you would be meeting, and given the time that has lapsed, I would assume that you are closer to finding each other. Are you at least talking to each other?
We are meeting again tomorrow afternoon. So unfortunately, there's no progress today to report on. As the meeting is only set for tomorrow, there was some difficulty ensuring the availability of all parties involved.
Remind us again, if you don't mind, very briefly, the issue was not just working conditions, which were also central to the negotiations, but you were also speaking about some bit of salary increase for the pilots specifically.
Yes, so I mean, if we talk about the salary increase, our demand, our last mandated demand was 10.5%. It was a 3-year agreement. I think year 2 was CPI plus 4.5 and CPI plus 4. But I mean, the pilots have indicated that they are willing to consider less than that. If we can resolve the roster dispute, which has a really negative impact on their lifestyle and their family life. So I mean, and that's the point, many of them went to SAFE because of the fixed rostering system and the predictability, and now that's taken away from them, and they basically are reconsidering their options. A pilot is somebody that can go anywhere, and many of them indicated, if their lifestyle is not looked after, why stay at SAFE? Then they can fly internationally because the lifestyle doesn't matter anymore.
When you're speaking about pilots being family people, and I was reading a letter from the CEO of Solidarity, and the letter, I think, struck a chord to some extent, and in part, it says that according to the reports in the media, 1.31 billion flowed out of the country and your Irish shareholders' pockets are bulging. Is it your view that this strike is not necessarily impacting Fly SFA completely negatively as it is with the pilots, hence the dragging of the feet and snail pace in negotiations?
No, I don't necessarily think it's that. They've indicated that they have basically a third less flights. So they fly about between 120 and 130 flights now daily, where they used to fly 180. If they have only 2/3 of their normal scheduled flights, it will definitely have a financial impact. That's the one part. The other part is they have to pay SAA to take over some of their flights. Not many, but there are some. So which means they lose the income of those flights, and they also have to pay SAA to fly those flights. And I mean, essentially, they are giving up market share because people fly left, they fly Airlink, they fly SAA. Will those people return to fly SAFE? Are they loyal to fly SAFE?
Yeah.
And eventually, one needs to consider that.
In closing, where are you not finding each other? What can be done? Is it the money? Is it the conditions? If so, what are some of the mechanics thereabout?
The biggest issue is the rostering dispute. SAFE basically made an offer to say, let's create a committee where the pilots can serve on and give input into the roster. But that committee's powers are limited to recommendations to management, and management has the power to override those recommendations, which means it's a committee that doesn't have any power. On top of that, SAFE indicated if we agree on that committee, pilots must commit not to strike about this issue again. And they basically expect pilots to sign away a constitutionally protected right to get a committee that only makes recommendations. So it's an unbalanced offer, and that's why 90.4% of our pilots rejected that offer again. The company says that it doesn't want to give away operational control, but what they actually have is control over the lives of the pilots. So their control overreaches at this stage, and we're just looking for some balance.
Is it completely unreasonable for a company to want to have control over the roster or scheduling in my industry, and where then they could determine based on the numbers that they want, the strategy of the company? Is it completely unfair for of them to want to have control over the roster?
No, absolutely not. They can control their roster, but there should be certain minimum rights of employees that remain protected. For example, one proposal we made is that over a 5-week period, a pilot should have at least a 3-day off period a weekend. The reason for that is a pilot schedule, for example, if he has a 2-day off period, on his last day he only gets home at 12, and on the first day that he gets back, he must get up at 3, which means he has limited time with his family. That's why you need to extend it to 3 days. Yeah. And that's an example. They can retain operational control, but there should be those limited protections.
Helga, thanks very much for speaking to us. Really appreciate it. Deputy General Secretary, Public Sector Solidarity, 21 minutes after 5. And straight to Kirby Gordon, Chief Marketing Officer at FlySafe, who was listening in on that conversation that I had with Helga a little bit earlier. Kirby, thanks for joining us. Welcome to 702.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
I'm sure you heard the latter part of our conversation. You were on the line, and it seems a little bit reasonable to say we want to spend more time with our families. Is that the crux of the issue as far as you understand it?
Yes, I mean, I think the sticking point, as Helga mentioned, is very much around the provisions of the roster issue. I mean, I think at this stage, what's really important to understand is that a lot of these requests that are being put in place are already provisions that are there. So, for example, the demand around a weekend per month, that sort of rule already exists in the roster. It's already been honoured. So there's nothing that would effectively, if we signed an agreement on that tonight, change tomorrow morning. Those provisions are already in place. It really does surround around this aspect of the union seeking full operational control. And I think it's a little disingenuous for them to say that they only seek certain provisions. Thus far, the proposals that we are certainly reviewing demand a full operational control of what the roster looks like. So I think that's where we're close to finding one another on this point, but it's just a matter of negotiating those specifics.
Helga, mentioned just a few minutes ago that they are not looking for full operational control. It was just a few minutes ago when he said that. Is he misrepresenting the facts as far as the negotiating table is concerned? Because he says that you can have that, but they do need some inputs as far as scheduling is concerned, especially given those hours that you're knocking off at 12 and at 3 you must be back at work.
Well, I hope he says that again tomorrow afternoon, or we can use his recording on that basis, because we and I have also read the demand and the settlement proposal from the union, and it certainly doesn't say that. So yeah, hopefully they do find each other on that basis.
So is this basically the only issue that is stopping the two of you right now?
Look, I think, the reality is there still needs to be a conclusive decision across everything. So as with any negotiation, of course, you give a little bit here, you take a little bit there. Nothing is actually concluded and set in stone at this stage.
Yeah.
So there are the remunerative issues, there are all of these roster issues, and there certainly is still a negotiation, a conversation that's going to be happening tomorrow. So there's nothing that I could confirm right now set in stone. I mean, obviously nothing signed. So we'll have to see where they net out.
And I can appreciate that you don't want to negotiate on radio, definitely, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But equally so, Kirby, my concern, and I'm sure the concern of many of your customers and people who would use your services would be the fact that regulations as far as hours of pilots are concerned is about to be a bit murky. And that may also contribute towards the scarcity and availability of flights, which will in turn affect some of us who would every now and then use flights to go back and forth. And it would mean that, is this a deliberate move on the side of the airline to frustrate a little bit, move it slower a little bit so that when you get back, the prices are a bit higher?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the first point to make is that there's no murkiness at all with regard to the provisions around flight and duty hours. Those are matters that are very carefully managed and regulated by the Civil Aviation Authority and everyone that manages those things like HAO, et cetera, et cetera. So in reality, that is not a grey area by any stretch of the imagination. And I think there are a lot of emotions that are out there that are being conjectured. I think there are a lot of claims and use of terms like fatigue, et cetera, et cetera. And realistically, if any of those were contraventions on the part of the airline, if any of those were real issues, we would have much bigger problems than a strike, to be honest. You know, we would be facing a whole different scenario.
I was referring to flying hours. Apologies, KB. I was just referring to flying hours specifically, that some pilots haven't flown for some time, not the other stuff. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Look, realistically, I think you have outlined the situation very accurately. I mean, there is a supply constraint in the market at the moment as a result of the strike. I can certainly assure you is that no company or airline would ever desire to be in this particular situation. It's very clear that both sides care very deeply about their positions, and that's a point of respect that we need to move forward from. And equally, the reality is that the airline is losing revenue in maintaining its position. So we have cut out approximately 30% of our flights. Those are non-revenue generating flights. That doesn't put us in a net positive position. So there would be no rational argument to say that it was something that we were doing, purposely.
Tomorrow, at the end of the day or a day after, are we all optimistic that the sun may rise and their flights may take to air?
Look, we remain committed to constructive engagement, and we're certainly going to return to the CCMA tomorrow with that guided negotiation process in good faith, as we have throughout. We've hoped every time that we can find one another. That's certainly the intention. That's certainly the will. And that's how we're going to move forward.
That was the word from CMO, KB Gordon, as they say in the flights. 27 minutes after 5 o'clock. Thanks very much to both of you, gentlemen. And we hope to see a resolution to the effect. You're on 702.
EWN Business.
This EWN Business is brought to you by Bright. Bright doesn't just provide business insurance, they ensure your future success. Bright Insurance is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP. With SG, Stephen Grotes.
Very good. Good morning. Good evening, Tabo. I don't even know where I am. Well, the JSE All Share having a better day today, up 0.47% at 99,165. So we've seen financials up nearly 1/3%, industrials up half, and resources up 0.6%. So gold prices are still a little softer than we've become accustomed to. Platinum prices a little stronger than they were yesterday. But I think the big news really is what's been happening in South Africa's own companies. So Boxer reporting its turnover in the 17 weeks to the end of June was up 12.1%. Its like-for-like growth up 3.9%. And then also astonishingly, their internal food inflation was negative 0.6%, and that's what promotions do, heavy promotions. Now, as a result of that, Boxer's share price up 4.6%, but its parent company, Pick n Pay, up 5.36%. They own a stake in Boxer, but I think the other story really is this is all about the kind of Pick n Pay recovery story, if I can put it like that. Kumba shares up 4.8%, despite reporting a 4% drop in revenue for the first half of the year. The story there is that real iron ore prices were down 6%, so they did pretty well. They've got a higher quality iron ore now. I think part of that might just be Sishen, but part of it is also because they've been working very hard at producing a better product. Basically, higher quality iron ore gets you a premium in terms of iron ore prices. The problem, though, is that you're competing in a market with too much iron, and you've got Chinese producers who also are trying to sort of get rid of iron, and so that makes it difficult from a pricing point of view. We'll speak to their CEO on the Money Show this evening. Telkom up 3%, Blue Label Telecoms up nearly 3% on the day, while MTN is up 2.29%. So obviously people quite optimistic about telecom stocks. Platinum down, not all of them actually, but Valterra is down 2.59%, while Glencore is down 2.5%, and 91 is down nearly 2% on the day, while Mondi is down 1.5%. Another of those days in the US where you really do have seen a sort of very optimistic open, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ hitting new highs. There have been corporate earnings out. Also, they're expecting something from the US Federal Reserve meeting. Look, most people that I've seen suggest there'll be another hold, and then probably another tweet from the president. But for the moment, that's what the sort of expectation is. That's it, turned negative in the last sort of half hour. The Dow Jones is down 0.34. The NASDAQ is down 0.07. The S&P 500 down 0.08% on the day. The gold price, $3,332.37 an ounce. Platinum, $1,402.57. Brent crude up slightly, $70.14. The rand down a little bit, is at 17.90. And I think, Tabo, we don't know what's going to happen on Friday regarding tariffs. I mean, I spoke to Mcobisi Jonas earlier. You'll hear that conversation on the Money Show. He doesn't really know. I was struck by a conversation. This was all at the Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation Winter Dialogue. That Zane Dungor, the Director General in the Department of International Relations, saying, look, the issue of BEE sort of become a big problem here, but we can't have another country tell us what to do, which is obviously correct. I mean, the same thing's happening with Brazil, by the way, where, they're trying their former president, Jair Bolsonaro, and President Trump has said, well, because of that, you're getting a 50% tariff. That's interfering with the court case. So quite a complex issue. And I'm not convinced we'll know on Friday what the final story is going to be. In fact, someone said to me today that trade negotiations never end. I thought that was probably true. The euro at the moment 20.62, the British pound 23.87. So on the Money Show, Mcobisi Jonas, we'll speak to Mpumi Zikalala, the CEO at Kumba Iron Ore. We will also be talking to Professor Vali Musa. I mean, Professor Vali Padiachi. This astonishing story where Eskom is now suing nurses to stop electricity traders.
Goodness me.
Which is crazy. Now, look, if you're Eskom, what you know those energy traders are going to do, they're going to take all of your good paying customers. They're going to leave you with, well, the councils. and then what do you do? And so that's Eskom's point of view. We'll talk about that. And then Dean McPherson will be with him for 20 minutes. The Public Works Minister, he's been in the news a lot. He was talking about Parliament yesterday, the Independent Development Trust today. But also, I remember Patricia de Lille, when she was in that position 2 years ago, saying, Public Works is a mess. 10 years before that, Julius Ngesi said, Public Works is a mess. What's it like now?
Goodness me.
Stephen Curtis is sometimes a mess, but he will be on the Money Show tonight. Stephen Curtis, EWF Business.
At Bright, we don't just provide business insurance, we insure your business's
future success.
Because your business is so much more than desks and computers and equipment, which is why we use our specialist expertise to tailor solutions for each client differently to ensure what's really important. So insure your businesses.
Financial security.
With Bright today, contact your broker or go to brightinsure.co.za to find out more. Bright, approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
Mongezi Koko will give us the very latest on Eyewitness News headlines. Hi, Mongezi.
That's right, Tabo. Good afternoon. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says he's not yet ready to appoint a replacement for Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Kunene, who no longer serves as the MMC for Transport. Kunene resigned as a councillor on Sunday and was recalled as the MMC for Transport by his party due to his controversial visit to the home of a man accused of orchestrating a series of murders. The suspended PA deputy leader was found at the home of Katiso KT Molefe during a police raid. Now, Molefe is behind bars for his alleged involvement in the murder of Oupa Sifoka, commonly known as DJ Sambori. While Kunene denies knowing Molefe, his presence at his home has raised questions about their relationship. Alpha Ramashwana reports.
Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie announced last night that 24-year-old Liam Jacobs will be deployed to the Johannesburg City Council as Kenny Kunene's replacement. Jacobs recently left the DA and his seat in Parliament to join the Patriotic Alliance. There have been questions about whether Jacobs will be appointed as the Transport MMC in Johannesburg, a position that Kunene was removed from following his latest controversy. However, Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says he's yet to decide on the appointment of Kunene's replacement.
At the right time, we will announce the still processes internally that we have to deal with. And once we are done, we'll give an announcement on the replacements of the MMC.
The Patriotic Alliance will determine Kunene's fate after the conclusion of an internal investigation. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, an AK-47 rifle has connected the murders of popular musicians, including Oupa Sifoka, and other high-profile killings linked to controversial businessman Katiso KT Molefe. Now, Molefe returned to the Alexandra Magistrates Court with 3 others for the murder of Sifoka, who is commonly known as DJ Sambori. But police revealed that the dodgy businessman has also been charged for the murder of another musician, Hector Buthelezi, known as DJ Vintos. His co-accused have also been charged for another hit. Khomotso Modise was in court.
Katiso KT Molefe is already facing murder charges for the hit on Vereniging engineer Armand Swart in April 2024. Last week, he was charged for being the alleged mastermind behind DJ Somebody's murder, and today he's been linked to the killing of another popular musician, DJ Vintos. The police's Athlenda Mate says the links have been made through ballistic testing.
We are linking the AK-47 as well as the 3 pistols that were found on the Armand Swart case and were linked to his case. We are linking them to the killing of DJ Vintos, who's known as Hector Buthelezi. We are linking that same AK-47 to the killing of DJ Sambori.
Mate says the same gun is also linked to the 2023 hit on a man identified as Don Dindleni, who was shot while driving in his BMW on the N1 highway in March 2023. Mate says apart from the ballistic evidence, the police have more solid evidence against Molefe and his co-accused. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News in Alexandra.
On the political front, Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie is on a mission to snatch wards from both the ANC and DA in local municipalities, particularly in the Western Cape. He says he won't stand for claims that his party is a DA or ANC lackey, neither that a vote for his party is a default vote for either one of them. Despite the PA's partnership with both these parties in the Government of National Unity, McKenzie has told supporters there will be no holds barred in upcoming polls for the party. He says he is the fastest growing countrywide. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
In a Facebook Live to address supporters, Patriotic Alliance President Gayton McKenzie says he will be exacting revenge on coalition partners who have done in the PA in municipalities where there's no outright majority. Last month, the PA lost the mayoral chain in the Laingsburg municipality when the ANC switched alliances in favour of a DA mayor.
We must teach the DA and ANC a lesson. Now touch is a move. We've declared war in the Western Cape.
In May, the PA snatched a seat from the ANC in the Northern Cape hamlet of Sutherland. Now Mackenzie is firing a warning shot that his party will take another ward from the ANC in a by-election in the Langeberg municipality, where the party's former councillor has defected to the PA.
In Beaufort West, we're going to teach them a lesson. Knysna, we are going to have a vote of no confidence, and we are not stopping.
Mackenzie says his party is going all out to win wards in the Matsikama and Knysna municipalities in next month's by-elections. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And in France, health experts have urged authorities to protect the public from a bee-killing pesticide, saying the chemical could also harm children and adults. The insecticide is sought after by beet and hazelnut growers who say they have no alternative against pests and face unfair competition. Now, the move has sparked anger in France and support for a student-initiated petition, which has garnered more than 2 million signatures. The legislation was adopted earlier this month without proper debate to bypass the decision in Parliament. The chemical has also been banned in France since 2018, but remains legal in the European Union. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 0 and 3 degrees and highs of between 18 and 20.
Well, if you're heading towards Leratong, that's driving through Roodepoort. There's slow-moving traffic on Randfontein Road. That's between Milestalker and Adcock. Also slow-moving traffic in the Kelland area. That's on the Beyers Naudé between the N1 and Judges Avenue. And finally, if you're traveling through Edenville heading towards Bedfordview, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gillies interchange.
The top story in EWN, Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says he's not yet ready to appoint a replacement for Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Kunene, who no longer serves as the MMC for Transport.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Godfrey Libya confirmed on the show last week that you have provided information to the Hawks as an informant, which has been credible before.
That is not true. In fact, please put it on record that I have never provided information to the Hawks. I'm not a police informant, and he wouldn't say that.
Hold on. He wouldn't say that? He did say it on this show. Listen to this.
He provided the information to us, which in the past we had to work on it.
I'm actually appalled. I'm not an informant, as he says. If I were to show you our WhatsApp conversation, there's nothing about providing information, credible information.
So what were you guys talking about since 2023 on WhatsApp with the head of the Hawks?
We're talking about things that have nothing to do with being an informant.
Malcolm X?
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Get ready, Mzansi Powerball has rolled over to a massive 100 million rand guaranteed jackpot this Tuesday. You heard right. Play Powerball for the first guaranteed 100 million jackpot today, and you could hit it lucky. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 in brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
So we did a thing, a full commitment kind of thing. We've partnered with Sixt to bring worldwide to your doorstep. So you see how that's a serious thing, because that's what you deserve. We know you're the GOAT, so premium it is. Premium service, premium vehicles, premium you, premium us. Sani Sixt is all about adding extra to ordinary. Extra reach, extra countries, so you can be extra premium worldwide. Be the greatest of all time and rent Sani Sixt.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Tabu. I just wanted to find out, isn't the working hours of the pilots and the cabin crew regulated by the Civil Aviation Authority? So if the roster is made, it's made according to the Civil Aviation Authority. They've been talking about these hours, but I haven't had the CAA coming in.
Hi there, Tabo. It's Kevin from Stubborns Valley, working at African Bank for the last, 15 years. Must say, really enjoyed the experience. Sent my first email here in 2010. Love the bank for the culture. The people are lovely. Currently in my dream position as an assistant accountant. Work myself up. I'm happy that there's still companies out there like African Bank could give you a chance, because initially when I started, didn't have any form of education, just some small diploma and matric certificate. But then, after a while, got some qualifications behind my name and also got a degree. So very, very happy to be employed by African Bank. See you. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Thanks, guys.
Honestly, it's fantastic to hear someone working for a bank and saying that they enjoy what they're doing. I thought it's only us in the radio space who love what they're doing. It's really inspiring. Everyone else, and I'm sure people are carrying their difficulties. People are going through a lot, and just refreshing to hear someone saying, I really, really love it. And I'm thinking, there's a saying that people don't leave their jobs. They leave their bosses. They leave their managers. So also, if it's nice, people don't stay because of jobs only and everything else that goes. They also stay when they've got great bosses. 16 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
Before sports, do you want to share a bit about your bosses, Tolagele? Are they great bosses or not? Career limiting commentary, just be careful. What's on the sporting headlines, Tolagele?
They're fantastic, Tabo. I love coming to work every day. Well, we start with this, Tabo. The delayed PSL Awards take place this evening as the curtain officially comes down on the best performers of the 2024-25 season. The Footballer and Players Player of the Season award will be contested by Gelotso Magalwa, Relebogile Mofokeng, as well as Lucas Ribeiro Costa, while Miguel Cardoso will go up against Steve Barker and Jose Rivero for the coaching award.
The recognition of all the coaching staff, the level of adaptation that arrived showed to the South African reality, and ultimately is also the consequence of the work of the players, their dedication to the proposals that we put it. And I see it as a joint consequence as I saw the month awards that I received throughout the season.
Newcastle boss Eddie Howe has admitted that Alexander Isak's future remains unclear amid intense links to Liverpool. The striker has informed the club he wants to explore his options in this transfer window, but still has 3 years left on his current deal.
He's still our player. He's contracted to us, so we to a degree, control what's next for him. So I'd love to believe all possibilities are still available. So we've received no formal offer from any football club for him. So my wish has always been that he stays and we see him again play next year, but that's not in my full control.
The Springboks continue to be put through their paces ahead of next month's back-to-back rugby championship clashes against Australia. The only injury concerns for Rassie Erasmus are Kanan Moody and Cheslin Colby, who are dealing with hand and knee niggles respectively. And with their opponents still involved in a series against the British and Irish Lions, Erasmus has discussed what the double world champions have been working on in training.
Currently now, the big thing is now to get one-on-one time with guys in specific positions. Like obviously, we're going to still swap a little bit in and out against Australia in the 2 test matches, seeing how much game time we can get into most of the guys. But the big positive from this is actually to have guys here and get a hell of a lot of reps in attack, in defense, at the breakdown, contesting systems, aerial skills, where it was a bit tough to with the big squad to get that right.
And India head coach Gatson Gambia was involved in an angry exchange with Surrey's head groundsman at the Oval. That's ahead of Thursday's decisive fifth test against England. In videos posted on social media, Gambia can be seen sharing tense words with Lee Fortis and repeatedly stating that he can't tell him what to do. Fortis is understood to have been keeping a protective eye on the playing area during India's practice. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Mr. Charlie, how do our roads look?
Looking at the south of Joburg, that's in the Soweto area, we still have bumper-to-bumper traffic heading into Protea Glen, Lenasia area. That's the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. There's also slow-moving traffic still in the Protea Glen area. This is R559 Main Road opposite GOG Gardens. Also, if you are in the Lenasia area, there's slow-moving traffic that's approaching the intersection of the R554 and Nirvana Drive and the Golden Highway in Churina. Traffic is a bit sluggish on the Golden Highway. That's between Chris Hani Road and the N1. If you're traveling through Kelland, traffic pressure, payers note here. This is between the N1 and Judges. Parktown, also slow-moving traffic on Empire Road. This is between Berry Hertog and the M1 Santon. Traffic remains a bit sluggish on the M1 northbound between Killarney Bains and the Butlu interchange. If you're traveling through Alexandra, that's coming from Midrand heading towards Germiston, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange and Van Buren. And finally, also if you are traveling through the Edenvale area heading towards Bedfordview, expect some delays on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gululis interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent shuttling his kids, with a back seat full of chatter, laughter, lunchboxes, and lost shoes. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a regular yet special slice of a family's life. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702 Podcast
On PrimeMediaPlus.com.
And during this time, John Perlman will be spoiling you to some beautiful music, and you would reciprocate by sending your voice notes on the same theme to 072 702 1702. Today we thought let's do something a little bit classic because the film and soundtrack to Grease featuring John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John went to number 1 on the US album chart. And it was so big that it would be repeated in various world stages throughout theaters of this globe. So we thought it's only appropriate to look back and reflect on Grease and ask you, what's your favorite Grease number? The song from Grease that you'd love, but more than that, more than Grease, there could be any other musical that you are definitely in love with. And given that many high schools right now showing some plays and some musicals, it's your opportunity to tell us about that as well. But speaking of Grease, do you remember this one? This piece of classic from that massive production, Grease.
Summer loving had me a blast. Summer loving happened so fast. I met a girl crazy for me. Met a boy cute as can be. Summer days drifting away to other summer nights. Tell me more, did you get very far? Tell me more, like does he have a She swam by me, she got a cramp. He ran by me,
Hey man, Summer Nights, you remember this one from Greece, a definite classic. So feel free to send us your thoughts on various musicals, your special favorites from a musical on 072-702-1702. Alternatively, call us on 011-883-0702. I know for sure that Redford Northcliffe is also showing another musical, Mamma Mia, which is on, and various other high schools throughout the country. Share those as well with us as we are reflecting on musicals. I'd love to hear what's your favorite song from any musical throughout the world. 7 minutes to 6.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
You think you know hunger. You don't. When you're 5 years old, you pass out from the cramps and your eyes are just wide open and you're looking to the adults around you to provide sustenance and there's no one to do it. These are the awful stories that are coming out of the Eastern Cape. For all the problems we have, we're still a land of plenty. It makes no sense that kids are still dying from acute malnutrition and hunger.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Whenever you hear deep in the heart and art of jazz, think Sia Makuzeni with the big band, Jasmine Horn, Alun Wad, the Baylor Project, Jose James sings Badu, Umusangare, Esperanza Spalding, Michelle Dugiocello, Elaine, Tezo, Munei, Mondli Ngobo, and many other spectacular icons. Think Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, 4 stages at the Santon Convention Center, 26th, 27th, and 28th September, and take me there. Book via Ticketmaster.
What is Overtrail? Is it off the beaten path, over the edge of comfort, or the thrill of the road less taken? It's over every bridge, every obstacle, every trail, and over to that view that takes your breath away. Overtrail means going further, exploring deeper, surrounded by the comfort and sophistication of a luxury SUV. It's this spirit that inspired the Overtrail project. Experience Overtrail in the LX and GX range. Lexus. Experience amazing.
PG Glass Repair, PG Glass Replace.
Hi, I'm Komodo, PG Glass Technician. At PG Glass, we keep your windscreen chip-free and crystal clear.
Choose PG Glass, quality you can trust. Visit pg.co.za.
So your favorite musicals on 072-702-1702. I see some of your requests coming through here. But oh, yeah. This one says Redford House, Blue Hills is also doing High School Musical. And this comes from Tulani. Tell us which one there, Tulani, or High School Musical. Fantastic. And share with us what's happening around as far as musicals are concerned. This one you'll definitely remember. It's a very local musical and a number of people will relate to it. Sarafina. Sarafina, you'd remember this one very well. South African classic, that musical that is so distinctly South African. 072-702-1702.
A very good evening, my brother. The best musical for me will be from Sarafina. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Freedom is coming tomorrow by Bolivia. Thank you.
And we've just played that. I see Cleona was talking about fame, but this one, there's a text message that came through, and it says, Sound of Music, Edelweiss.
Every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss.
And Stephen Grootes was singing along
I had to
for
sing
a
that
change.
at primary school. I
Really?
have you know.
Edelweiss?
Weren't even allowed to watch the movie in those days. But
Really?
Yeah, well, watched it later, but yeah.
Well. And Karabo, for you?
Well, for all-time classic, The Lion King, I mean, can you
We're
see
such different
what's
generations.
happening?
Diverse
But
station,
they
right?
don't have a clue. They fall in love, and here's the bottom line. I'm like you, Steve, but you were like that off air right now to Greece. So
You must
please.
have seen Stephen Grootes wearing
Yo,
a jacket and
eyes
holding
closed.
Yeah.
Let's play it.
We'll try again. And this was from
Lion King.
Lion King, ne?
Yes, I can see what's happening.
I suppose, 90% of the world would agree with you on that one. Well, that's from The Lion King, and that's my cue to say goodbye to you, but stay tuned to the station. Stephen Grootes up next.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, honoured as the best bank for ESG in Africa and South Africa by Euro Money Awards for Excellence 2025. Good evening on your Money Show tonight with the Trump tariffs looming ahead of Friday's deadline. Mcobisi join us on how the world is changing and how we should manage our place in it. The Kumba CEO, Mpumi Zikalala, on how they're making more money from higher grade iron ore. Vali Padiati on Eskom's latest bid to stop electricity trading. The Public Works Minister Dean McPherson on his year in the National Coalition. And from 7:30 tonight, how tariffs and a weaker dollar will affect your portfolio. All of that to come. But first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Maki Malapo. Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe has taken a thinly veiled swipe at countries threatening to impose higher import tariffs on trade partners, labelling the threats as bullying. Mantashe's concerns about the impact of higher tariffs on miners comes ahead of an expected 30% duty on South African products shipped to the US, set to take effect at the end of the week. Speaking at an engagement on the G20 Critical Minerals Framework in Sandton today, he called on captains of industry to find alternative markets for the country's critical minerals. Nogukanya Mtambo has the details.
The US relies on South African metals and minerals that are essential for its economy and national security, making them the biggest South African exports to the US. But for US President Donald Trump, doing business with a superpower means taking a hard stance. You're either with the US or you're against it. During this year's installment of the BRICS meeting in Brazil last month, Trump threatened BRICS allies with higher tariffs on goods into the US above the universal baseline on all trading partners. Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe responded to this.
If being member of BRICS attracts tariffs from the US, it says to us, let's diversify our markets more and more aggressively and not focus where tariffs are imposed on us.
Platinum Group metals and chrome were on a list of exemptions before the US paused its previous tariff threats, but a levy on diamonds and other minerals raised concerns about lower export earnings for South Africa. It's unclear at this stage what parameters will apply to the August 1st tariffs. Nogukanya Mtambo, Eyewitness News.
The Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System is set to cost almost 148 million rand over a period of 6 months. The Justice and Constitutional Development Department confirmed the amount to Eyewitness News in a written email. During a briefing in Sandton yesterday, Acting Deputy Chief Justice and Chairperson of the Commission, Mbuyiseli Madlanga, informed the media he was not in a position to talk about the cost, directing all questions to the department. The Judicial Commission was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa to probe allegations of corruption and collusion within the criminal justice system, made public by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Arun Singh has more.
The estimated cost of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into the criminal justice system has been set at 147.9 million rand. The budget will form part of a standard operating procedure to be tabled to Cabinet by Justice Minister Mamaloko Kubai for approval. According to the department, the budget and SOP will cover organizational structure and reporting formats, information security and storage, monitoring and implementation mechanisms, compensation structures for commissioners, employees, legal professionals and researchers, administrative costs, including office leases, digital infrastructure and security arrangements. The department will also oversee procurement process for the Commission's operations, adding they've applied to National Treasury for a deviation from standard procurement processes and are currently awaiting a response. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
We move to the courts where a Hawks detective has presented evidence alleging slain nightclub bosses Mark Liffman and Andre Nodia were part of a criminal enterprise called the Brotherhood, along with alleged gang boss Jerome Donkey Boyson. The detective is testifying in the high-profile trial related to the murder of steroid king Brian Weinstein, who was shot dead in his Constantia home in 2016. Prosecutors today showed the Western Cape High Court cell phone records that allege Liffman, Nodia and Boyson were associates for more than 20 years. Carla Peterson has more.
A Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation detective who cannot be named today told the court she was part of the team who investigated Brian Weinstein's murder in 2017. As part of her investigation, she was given recordings of phone calls between alleged underworld figures Mark Liffman, Andre Nodia, Colin Boyson and Jerome Boyson. The captain says it became clear to her that Liffman, Nodia and the Boyson brothers were part of an enterprise called the Brotherhood.
The state version is that during 2016, that Colin Boyson, Mark Liffman, Andre Nodia worked together.
The detective told the court the phone records allege Liffman, Nodia and the Boyson brothers were associates for more than 20 years. Liffman and Nodia, along with 3 other accused, have been killed since the start of the trial. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And in the U.S., government has thrown its weight behind a 2-state solution for peace in the Middle East at a high-level conference at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Addressing the Assembly today, International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola praised France for recognizing a Palestinian state and called on other UN members to do the same. Lamola said it was not only Israel that had to abide by international law, but other member states too. Lindsay Dentlinger has that story.
Co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia, the conference aims to adopt an action plan that will lead to the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine and the implementation of a 2-state solution. International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola has told the gathering that South Africa prefers dialogue over war. Lamola has appealed to Hamas to release all hostages in Gaza, for Israel to release all political prisoners, and for it to stop its expansion into the occupied territories.
All obstacles to 2-state solutions should be removed. These include an immediate ceasefire and a commitment to peace process.
Lamola says last week's motion by the Israeli government to annex the West Bank could bury the goal of a 2-state solution.
Peace must reverberate in the Gaza Strip, in the West Bank, and in the whole of the Palestinian territory. And this is in our hands.
Lamola says there's high expectation that this conference will deliver